into the grands, and the loser will be awaiting their opponent. It will either be LC or LS.
Yeah, light side, obviously, there were some questions around them after their loss to MRG, but the way in which they came back against Blue Whites, especially that tooth and nail last game, it was just the superior team fighting of Lightside that led to them winning. So incredibly excited to seeing them go up against Lions Creed on Sunday.
Yeah, but that is the game left this week. We now are going to focus on to our matchup today, Venomcrest against Munster. Looks like the players are all ready. Yeah, they're ready to go. We'll head into draft soon.
I mean, I want to, of course, touch on Panda's Rumble. That is something I do not expect MRG to let through. We've seen zero Rumble priority for Kaga at all this split. There has been some rumbles about Rumbles in the jungle, but I don't think that's something you would want to pull out in an official. Although we do know that Nord has his own spice in the champion pool, and Nord, a Nunu aficionado. Again, we'll see if the situation is conducive to that, because it's been it was a very hit and miss pick when he did pull it out in the regular split.
Yeah, some of these picks, even for teams that have practiced them, can be risky to take. They are there in the pockets for a reason, and when you bring them out, it has to be properly planned out. Venomcrest as well has some of those as well. We've seen Modlishka's Seraphine come out a couple of times in the playoffs as well, and it's seen varied success. The first game that it was brought out, it didn't perform excellently. It was okay, but in the second game, it looked a lot more refined.
It did what it needed to.
It did what it needed to. Seraphine,
that's kind of the thing with Seraphine, isn't it? It's the barrier for being useful is so low. It's like, okay, get an empowered W, hit it, make your team gain around 1500 health in the team fight, and that's often just enough to win. If an encore lands on somebody, good.
I think it's more, if Encore lands on someone, you've done your job. If it doesn't, what did you do?
Oh yeah. I would like to point out that previous statement was mostly sarcasm.
Yeah,
I've been told in the past, like, that my brackish being sarcastic and brackish not being sarcastic is surprisingly close. So I'm working on distinguishing those voices a little more.
It is sometimes, especially in a cast situation when your co-caster is producing at the same time, it can be a little bit iffy.
Fair, yeah, no, it's fair. I can't put too much onus on you. Elsewhere besides that, though, we've seen that, again, a lot. Mudliska perfectly happy to play true blue carries as well as the Seraphine, so going to be very interesting. If Mudliska does go towards the Seraphine, I'm interested to see what Influentic plays against it, because I think something like the Xerath that can turbo outrange the Seraphine could be very interesting to see. Or if you go, okay, well, you're playing a sort of enabler, then I can go an enabler, and they might want to just let him back onto the Cassandre.
There's also the options of going an assassin like Zed or something like that. Just straight up kill the Seraphine.
He's played it. Call me a heretic. I know I've been covering MRG all split, but like, he could play the Zed. I'm not terribly been convinced. But I mean, as you say, it could very much be possible that we see that pick come through.
But we are heading into draft. We have it live.
Let's go.
I had a small heart attack there for a second, but it is working.
Okay, well, that's a first ban that you expect to see every day of the week. It's a Moosey special. There is no way in hell that they're going to let him have it. Yeah, this is just swinging at the champion pool, swinging at comfort. There goes Alonsky's Lee Sin. Yeah. Very much wouldn't be surprised to also see Shakur's Tristana or Zaya go. Rel is also very, very good. Been played by both Nord and Moosey to a good level of competency.
So yeah, this Rakan ban is interesting in the way that Zaya, especially in the set yesterday, was very polarizing. Almost 100% win rate throughout the entire set. And with the Rakan ban, you're really disincentivized to pick it as well. Sure, it does fine on its own, but without the Rakan pairing, that wastes a pick from the opponent, or you get the insane pairing. It's a lot worse. Okay, that was a Okay, apparently we had a small
it's fine.
disconnect on the stream. I hope that it's fine. Okay.
It seems to be okay. I think we're going on just fine. Final rotation in the first set of bans. The Malphite taken away, as well as the LeBlanc from Ludlishka. And I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Maokai first picked. It's been super high prio for as long as I can remember this season, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which means we could expect very much to see a handshake of a Sejuani for Nord. Or if he doesn't want to play something like that, then we could see, again, that slightly more spicy picks coming out from him there.
This Maokai is actually slightly surprising because we haven't seen Olansky play tanks in ages. He's brought out the Sejuani a couple of times, but that's the only tank. Otherwise, he's been only on the Viego, only on the assassin skirmishing type junglers. But yeah, speaking of priority picks, there have been a bunch of target bans, and that means all of the heavy priority picks are left open. Tristana and Cassante probably going to get locked in here.
Tristana, I would very much expect not to go to Influentic. We haven't seen him play it at all, and it's a Shakur special. So, I mean, they could try and go, haha, gotcha, we'll give the Tristana to Influentic, but we'll have to see if that comes through. I think it is just, Shakur is just so good on that champion that there's no reason to flex it. And the flex more interesting is, of course, the Cassante. Could be given to Karga, could be given to Influentic. We'll see how the draft evolves.
Yeah, they were considering picking up the AD carry there for Kino, but instead it's going to be another heavy flex pick in Jace. Just seeing a high pick rate, Modlishka. I don't think we've seen Modlishka play too much, but Panda, I know, is a very, very proficient Jace player.
And Jace does very fine. If MRG wanted to send Cassante top, then Panda has kind of a free lane especially until the level 6 comes through. Like, there's not really that much that a Jace can do wrong other than, well, actually, shall I say, there is no way that a Jace should be getting hit by a Q3. Let's say that.
It is extremely hard to hit those engaging abilities onto a Jace, but if Jace does get engaged on, let's say from a Fog of War situation, that's a situation where Jace can actually die solo, even with the heavy lane playstyle. Here we see the Nautilus being picked up, still keeping the AD carry flex hidden. Yes, very aggressive and very nice peel as well if Venomcrest wants to go in.
Let's not forget that in the Eastern regions, Nautilus has been flexed into jungle several times. I would not put it past Nord at all to be able to play it. It's really not that difficult. The lollipopping on Dredgeline is ridiculous. We all know it. We all hate it. But I just keep that in mind. I think it will probably just end up being the bot lane pairing because that is one aggressive 2v2. You land a hook onto somebody, that's basically an explosive charge to the face completed, and I would not be at all surprised to see Shakur jumping twice just to ensure the extra damage, ensure the kill. More focused spot side from MRG as well. Renata take away from touch here. And there go jungle picks, Jarvan, and the aforementioned Sedge.
Well, they're hovering. Nunu just locked in. I think that's locked in.
Oh, yes.
We're gonna see the Nord Nunu pickup. And with the Tristan and Nautilus, we have a kill lane of all kill lanes set up in the bot side of the map.
We sure do, Carvis. It's going to be a case of, do you try and try and match that kind of aggression in the bot lane with Kinnel and Touch? Or do you try and go for something that can disengage, that can keep them at arm's reach, and allow this Varus to scale up? It will be the Alistair. That makes a lot of sense to me. Should be able to, if Shakur wants to jump forward, if he does so carelessly, then he can get pulverized and turn back on. Or, of course, if the situation turns sour, then a swift headbutt can disengage very nicely. And Modliska's Talia, especially buffed on 13-15. Very interesting to see. Now, obviously, you really don't want to put Cassante with the dashes that he has available into that. So, yep, that seems like an Influentic A-Sol angle. And you want to talk about inevitability? We've got a super aggressive bot lane leading into an A-Sol late game. That is potentially terrifying if something doesn't fall apart in the mid game, which, to be fair, there is the meme among MRG of the MRG mid game where early game goes great. late game's good, and then something just happens in the sort of 15 to 25 minute point, and some kind of singularity occurs.
This is a very interesting composition from the side of Munster. While Venomcrest, a lot more standard, actually putting Olonski in a tank. It's going to be interesting to see how he performs on this, playing so many aggressive style junglers before. They do have the ways to respond to the aggression of Munster in here. They have Alistar Peel, they have Maokai Peel. Now, Talia E is going to be a huge problem for the many dashes on the side of MRG. And they have the long-range poke set up. Every single member of the team that is the damage dealer can do it from afar. Where the problem comes into play is if this Azol gets into the late game.
Azol W counts as a dash, right? It's just a really, really slow one.
I'm pretty sure that Azol W is a dash, Cassante has a dash, I'm pretty sure Nunu W counts as a dash as well. Tristan and Nautilus also have dashes, so Talia is going to have a ton of value here.
The Unraveled Earth is, that's kind of terrifying coming out. That affects the entirety of the MRG composition. Right now, though, I think we have to look towards bot lane in the super early. Obviously, Karga has been told, sorry bro, you're being left on an island in the Jace matchup, is probably what we see. And especially what we've seen in the past with Shakur on Tristana and Nord on Nunu. It's clear to bot lane, do an insane dive thanks to the snowball, and get Shakur rolling super early. I would not be surprised at all to see them try and repeat that.
What? Getting Nunu active in the early game? No way! This is a never heard.
Right? Revolutionary.
Yeah, it's all going to be on Nord.
But it's specifically, it's always towards bot lane that Nord's tried to go, which... see if he'd do anything, but I think it's the only place that he really would want to influence super early. You could maybe put Panda behind, but it's not like Karga isn't going to be useful pretty much regardless of situation when the later stage of the game comes around.
Yep, looks like we are just about ready to head into the Rift for Game 1.
And we are in. Everybody, welcome to Summoner's Rift for the first game of your winners finals in the NLC Division 2. Venomcrest still undefeated. 21 games untouched. This is an MRG squad that are on an 8-game win streak of their own. And they have looked really, really scary, especially with this man on your screens, Influentic. Coming out of his shell, becoming more comfortable on carries, specifically this Aurelion Sol. This is a signature pick for him.
Yeah, this is...
I was going to say, he's not going to have the easiest early game, but that's just Aurelion Sol in the nutshell for you.
Yeah, it is. But what helps the early game of Aurelion is the tech that he's doing. He probably has Futures Market set up in the secondary tree. Starting out with the Sapphire Crystal and a refillable potion, we'll be able to get that early Lost Chapter back if he last hits properly and gets the proper recall timing. I think it's 4 waves that you have to last hit before the recall, just on the cannon wave.
That gives me warm feelings. Yeah. As a Ziggs player, that cheese is very, very near and dear to my heart. I love it.
We saw that yesterday from Painful on the Syndra as well.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, it's just good. Gets your early scaling or your very earliest power spike going, and if your opponent hasn't done it, then you're getting it sooner than them, which, spoilers, is pretty good.
Well, we see the junglers start on the same side of the map, both of them, of course, pathing towards the bot lane, as we already talked about in a draft. This Nunu will be laying down some heavy pressure once he gets a couple of levels on his laners and himself.
Yeah, and this is no surprise, really. It's pretty transparent from, again, as I explained earlier, Nord really likes to play towards Shakur when he's on this Nunu, and if they can set that up effectively, then Kennel and Touch will really, really struggle in this lane. So Oblonsky is kind of obliged to ensure that his bot lane doesn't end up in a massive hole. And so matching that pathing, you can see though that the clear from Nord is so much faster at this very early stage.
And You know, one of the fastest single clamp. Well, he clears all the camps fairly fast. It's not like the old Nunu who was literally the fastest at clearing the single target camps, but it's fairly consistent and strong. Looks like we have Nord actually
Well,
going for
hello.
a small invade here.
Okay, Olowski does get the smite onto the camp at least, but will lose a little bit of CS on towards Nord. Of course, that does mean that that speed increase that it had. Never mind, Shakur going straight in. Already getting knocked into the tower. What are you doing, my man? Ignited. One more hit would do it. Thankfully, he manages to get the jump back out. And that is an immense disrespect from Shakur. You cannot jump onto an Alistair like that.
They are still making a play out of this. Nord counter-jungling away the red buff as that chaos on the bot side was going on. Olonsky just couldn't defend against it, even though Shakur has to burn his flash. He got both of the combat summoners out of the Venomcrest bot lane, including Touch's flash.
Yeah, and this now means that obviously this Alistair is now liable to being turned into beef if there is a situation that can be found. Nord pops a snowball down into the mid lane. Bliska not too bothered about it at all. However, we now see that, yeah, with that nice little invade, Nord is going to grab both scuttles and will then still have his bot quadrant to clear. So going to be a good 2-3 camps up on Oblonsky after this first clear.
So far, so good for Nord on his signature champion. Just needs to find a kill or two before he gets outscaled out of the early game. Olonsky, though, pathing top side. They're trying to see if there's a play being set up onto Panda. Kaga still level 4, doesn't have all out, just hits level 5 here. But with Alistair as well roaming onto the top side, the counterplay isn't there.
Kaga needs to be careful though. Lonsky does show himself in, gonna have to flash out. Not respecting the play too much, but won't go down here. It just means, of course, he's going to have to be a little bit more careful going forwards. And, of course, Panda now means that he has pretty much freedom to play in this lane. Nord, I saw that. That snowball did not hit the dragon.
Sometimes you time
it won't matter.
It didn't really matter. The important thing is that Nord recognized Olonsky is still level 3 on the top side of the map, hasn't started clearing his own jungle yet. Free real estate for him to go and take the dragon for free. Nunu takes it really fast, and these objectives are the most important thing for these types of junglers to secure, similar to Shyvana, for example. The earlier you get the dragons, the better.
Yeah, the sooner you can get that stacking going, the better. Meanwhile, the level 6s, for a second I thought Cargo had hit it slightly quicker, but no. Immediate, instant. Of course, Panda technically doesn't have an ult in the traditional sense, since he has transformed from level 1. So, potentially a spike where Karga could have looked for something, but with a Doran shield, they're not really going to be able to find a kill, generally speaking.
Looks like we have a small pause here. We're just gonna figure out what's going wrong as we head to the caster desk. Meanwhile, sometimes these happen. Looks like we are having some connection issues. Should be solved fairly quickly. But yeah, so far in the early game, no kills have come over, but the Nunu has definitely had more impact on the game.
Absolutely. Nord doing a fantastic job in the very early phases of this game. The challenge for him, of course, is going to be executing later in the game. This is kind of to be expected that Nunu was going to be clearing faster. I do big props for the red invade, making the most of perhaps the over-aggression of Shakur, but yeah, turning it into something very tangible, a very, very early first Drake pickup, which means you can potentially accelerate the game if you can continue that stacking going.
And the pause very quickly resolved. Good job by the players. With this early game going the way it is, Nord still looking for the level 6, still far ahead of Olonsky. Bot side levels are going up. And now with level 5 to 6 hit soon, MRG could start setting up for plays with Influentic.
Absolutely. The level 6 has been hit in the mid lane as well. And of course, with the ability to fly out of lane, Influentic can be pretty much anywhere on the map he wants within reason. The problem is that Modliska, at this point, with a Lost Chapter, is able to match his push pretty effectively. You are going to lose something tangible if you do make that roam. So it is incredibly important that if you opt to make that play, that you get something out of it.
This is an interesting rotation from Munster, by the way. Both of the side lanes are being frozen from the side of Venomcrest, so instead, MRG just preemptively start rotating over the incoming Herald.
Love it. Yeah, if they're gonna set up the freeze, okay. Well, Karga was already gonna be the weak side. Shakur just gonna jump in, say hello with an explosive charge to the face. That does sound like a Tristana greeting. In fact, Nord and Musi looking for a potential dive angle onto Panda. The wave is already getting pushed in. We're not seeing any response. In fact, Olonsky is coming to try and save Panda from this play. The flash is available for the Jace. Can they do anything? Is able to get out. Nord will take a couple of hits. Panda will be fine. Musi ends up flashing as well. Influentic came out of mid for that. With but a flash, Panda is able to completely defuse that situation.
Yeah, the situation is diffused, but Munster now with really low HP bars are going to be maybe a little bit late for the rotation onto the Herald that's upcoming. Sure, they got the flash out of Panda. Important to get that out of the top side if you're going to contest the objective. But it's still a little bit awkward for them losing all that vision and letting Venomcrest set up their own.
It does at least give a slight CS advantage to Karga, who of course was unmolested on the bottom lane while that was all going on. TPs are available from both of these top laners as well. In fact, we see Karga TPing towards the mid lane. Nord looking for the angle in here. Nature's Grasp will counter, though. All the damage dropping down. Startle Fallen First Blood is picked up by Modliska. Musi going for Shakur, jumping into the middle of four of them, trying to find something. It's a double kill for Modliska. Karga and Influentic still feel confident enough to try and make this play happen. All out from Karga to try and keep Panda off of his mid laner, though. And it's just bodies being put down. Modliska should easily be able to find Influentic here. There's no flash on the Starforger. Kennel will now find the way in, and Panda will claim that kill. And okay, I was talking about the MRG mid lane, mid game. We aren't even in the mid game. What was that engage?
That was interesting, let's say. Munster just completely running into Venomcrest. And when I say running in, literally into the Talia, Maokai, Alistar, Varus burst. They instantly lose most of their members on the front line and aren't able to even pick up a single kill. Shakur literally has to jump into the enemy team to get at least the one. Well, it wasn't even him who picked it up. Influentic picked it up. And they just donated a ton of gold over to Modliska.
And this is kind of what we've seen from MRG. Oh, Panda manages to find the damage onto Shakur as well. The interrupt on the rocket jump, very nice. Will have to burn his flash to survive that one. And this is something we've seen from MRG a lot. They're aggressive. Sometimes they're over-aggressive. And in a situation like that, against a composed enemy team, they can get heavily, heavily punished. Now, 2k gold down when they were the ones with the stronger early game.
Yeah, just a really nice team fight by Venomcrest. Recognize that they are indeed stronger in the 5-on-5. Sure, their Nunu combined with something like the Tristana Nautilus could be strong in an isolated 3v3 or 2-on-3 situation. But in a straight-up 5v5, when Venomcrest gets to play how their comp wants to play, it's unbeatable until Influentic has scaled up.
And we look towards the later stages of the game. Panda has fantastic poke. Kinnell has fantastic poke. Modliska has pretty good poke and amazing keep out. If a fight can't start on MRG's terms, as in with a concrete hard and fast engage from Nord, Musi, or Karga, then they are going to be getting chunked out by these Venomcrest members, this poke that is all coming out. And as we saw, yeah, they got royally punished in that previous fight. Now Olonsky coming in, Nature's Grasp, and MRG have to completely abandon the Drake, just give it across.
Yeah, now they recognize the power that Venomcrest composition puts out here in the early game. Sure, Karga gets a couple of platings for his troubles, but still, the Nunu losing the second dragon 11 minutes in has to hurt for the scaling potential of the team. And it's not even the scaling potential, they're supposed to be the ones picking up the picks.
Yeah, these are the ones that are meant to be the proactive in the early game. And They were, but now they need to pull back the tempo a bit. They lost that fight. They need to be like, all right, guys, yeah, we kind of ran that one down and realign themselves for a more composed mid-game, which is something that regular season MRG wasn't really very good at doing.
They do have the tools to play a solid mid game though, with Influentic being on the solid, easy wave clear available for them, and Venomcrest isn't powerful enough yet to force the issue under the towers unless they get an insane engagement that they're looking for in the bot lane.
Yeah, Blonsky is here. Nord in the river could potentially look for a counter engage, but manages to get out with the dredge line. Of course, there is a Herald in pocket for Olonsky, and Modliska coming down as well. I think was spotted out. We have to watch for the potential dive with the Weaver's Wall. Nord is also looking for the angle in, charging up the snowball. Doesn't able to find anybody. This will take down Shelly. Oblonsky trying to get out. The depth charge dropped on towards Kennel. Musi has to flash. Influentic now coming in. The star is to stand, but it will not do a thing other than forcing Venomcrest to retreat.
It's appealing ultimate from the Aurelian. Has to use it just so Venomcrest doesn't try to force themselves
Nord's
in
trying it
once
again.
They just don't have the power to go for these sorts of fights. Shakur still missing the mythic, kind of missing the levels to have the increased attack speed and power and the explosive charge. And they really, really need to burst the members of Venomcrest down to win a team fight. Reaching them is the main problem.
Yeah, as I brought up earlier, the Venomcrest can absolutely hold MRG at arm's length. And that's an interesting double Fiendish Codex pickup for Modliska. So trying to really get the most out of the gold that he's earning in this early game. Because 2-0 Thea right now definitely is up on Influentic, even if he is down a little bit in CS. So absolutely, turn all of that gold you've got into as much AP as you can possibly have.
Yeah, it's not only the AP that you get from Fiendish Codex, it's the ability haste isn't a unique passive on the components. Yeah. So you just get 10 ability haste every single one that you pick up. And again, top lane, we have a small skirmish going on as Karga going for the all-out.
He's looking for Panda, but immediately a hit with the Hammer Shock will send him flying away. Modliska again lurking around the bot side, making sure that Shakur and Musi cannot look for an engage angle. Karga will drop out of the all-out. Modliska has been spotted out. Will use the Weaver's Wall to get to safety, so doesn't have to at least commit the summoner there.
Yeah, just really dancing around the issue here as Touch gets engaged on.
Yeah, got a bit of damage coming down. Has used the ultimate as well. Nord now looking to find Kennel. Can he? He cannot. I was going to say, can he drift it round to find the Varus? Not at this point in the game. Does not have the movement speed for the turning radius required there. And MRG still looking for stuff, but it's not really panning out for them.
Touch has no ultimate for the fight if they would like to force a repeat gag with the Nunu Snowball. But again, Herald spawning very soon along with the Dragon, so both teams have to make a decision which objective do they want to focus on, as Nord, hanging out in vision, could see a 2v2 here.
Yeah, but Modliska's so strong right now. Going to try and use the absolute zero to get some damage down, but really does next to nothing to Oblonsky. Meanwhile, Influentic is trying to get the damage down. The falling star comes through, but Olonsky has the healing there. Nord will be able to find the kill back. However, there are 4 members of Venomcrest on his tail. Musi going to try and get him out there. Depth charge onto Modliska. Is Shakur confident enough to try and make this play? Gets knocked out. Touch has no ultimate. One more hit would do it. There's Karga coming in. Will be able to secure the kill. Kettle and Panda going to need to try and find the angle out here. Modliska still looking for the play here as well. Musi might have found the angle for Modliska alone, but doesn't have any follow-up, and that will diffuse the situation. Influentic does go down. They do get a kill onto Nord, which is going to help this Nunu scaling a lot.
They have Aurelian TPing back in. They could look for more in the mid lane as Musi and Karga still
Very
zoning
low.
out the rest of Venomcrest. Another TP coming in, this time from Modliska. They really want to skirmish this. Venomcrest thinks that they are strong enough.
I don't blame them. They certainly are strong enough right now, but MRG just got a TP for the low price of getting their second Drake pickup. They will have to give up second Herald, but I think in this situation you want the Drake stack more anyway. And in fact, Touch may find himself in a little bit of trouble. No Flash does have the ultimate backup now, is trying to survive the damage coming through from Kennel, but it's not going to be enough. And the cow will be chopped up and served up to the Starforger. Influentic picks up a second kill.
Yeah, both sidelines also having the towers taken by the missing members from that team fight.
By a fraction of a second, Shakur got it first. So,
Yeah.
tiny bit of extra gold into the MRG pocket. Ooh, careful, Nord.
Nord tried to look for something with Influentic here in the mid lane, just to get constant skirmishing, and with all of that fighting going on and the first tower gold going to Shakur, they've evened up the gold lead by quite a large amount.
Yeah, the little oopsie that happened earlier in the game has been roughly dealt with. Avlonsky trying to look for a play in here. They will have to give up the mid-tier 1, but Venomcrest not going to look for any more. Karga was lurking towards the side trying to find something, and we fall back to this neutral state. 2 minutes until Baron comes up. 3.5 before the next Drake. It's straight on back to farming, especially for Influentic. We need him to be hitting the second item, the third item, before MRG really starts winning these fights.
And as is tradition, we have a second pulse. Can't have one without two. We're gonna go back to the caster. But yeah, so far, just insane fighting going on. We were thinking that, sure, MLG could make some plays down the bot side. Chaos Theory. Yeah.
This is just MRG. This is Chaos Theory. Look for every single engage possible and see if a more composed team like Venomcrest can drop to the lowest common denominator sort of style, which they're doing pretty well.
They are doing pretty well. For the most part, we saw one botched engage that almost managed to turn the game around, but eventually they got the power spikes that they needed. First item for Tristana and Aurelian, so damn important for these team fights, and they could get the picks off and even up the gold lead. But Venomcrest, Modlishka especially, feeling so strong on the Talia. We already saw how important this character can be for this dash heavy style that Munster is playing, just able to stop everything with the rocks, zoning them out. Just waiting for some update. Looks like we are ready to go back into the game.
Yeah, we highlighted it in draft. The Talia, so good into all of these dashes from MRG, and with Modliska also being very strong, that means the onus is going to be kind of on him for Venomcrest right now. Kinnel is doing fine, 1005, but it is very much going to be this Talia that can fully choose almost the tempo of the game by how she chooses to position, what fights she chooses to take, and how she opts to use the Weaver's Wall.
Yep, another turret goes down on the map as Karga picks that one up.
Oh, hello.
Okay,
no Flash here, no Weaver's Wall either. Goes Golden. There's the absolute zero coming out though, and will get caught out by the Unstoppable. And just like that, that was the most like egregious caster curse I think I've ever afflicted on a player. We talk about Modlishka, we talk about how important he is going to be right now, and he dies.
It does. I have to apologize for the stream because apparently I forgot to add in game sound.
Oh well, they still had our voices at least. There's at least something. Meanwhile, on the bot side of the map, Shirley has been put down. We'll be able to pick up a tier 2 turret in the bot lane. Panda looking for Influentic here. This guy will fall onto Venomcrest, force the disengage. Nord is still looking for the engage forwards, and of course Influentic can still play from max range with the star. It's not Breath of Light. Breath of Life is Milio ultimate. Breath of Light is... That's Riot! I want to have words. Those abilities are too close.
I think everything's fixed now on the stream side of things. This is the problem when you start adjusting an already made stream setup and you change way more things that you have to. You forget something quite important, but I think everything should be good now. But yeah, Venomcrest going to start setting up on the Baron side of things. They have quite a bit of DPS, especially with the Jace soon hitting the Muramana's power spike. With Talia on the Leandri and Varys coming in not far behind with the Muramana, the two items could result in a very fast objective take.
definitely. MLG are no slouches in Baron take, although Musi might be in a bit of trouble here. Has his flash. Karga jumping forwards, then will be able to step back from the Ninja Scouts. Get caught anyway. Absolutely obliterated. Taken down before he can really do anything. And just like that, MLG are down a member. 30 seconds until Karga comes back up. Venomcrest, if they want to, could absolutely look for the Baron instead. They're going to try and harass Nord on his chickens. I want to see if Venomcrest pull the trigger on this one, because this could be like a game-defining moment.
It is going to be a close one as Nord gets caught out.
Gets spotted out, spots out Oblonsky. Meanwhile, Shakur is trying to counteract Panda coming in. There is the damage. The shutdown onto Nord comes through. Musi will drop as well. That's a jungler gone, and that's definitely a call for Venomcrest to get started on the Baron.
Yep, we were talking about how the Muramana spikes are going to be the important one to melt this one down. And look what Jace is about to do with the single auto attack. And the health bar starts melting. Really, really nice picks coming out from Venomcrest once again, just taking control of the map through their so refined team fighting.
Yeah, so controlled. It was that has to have almost just been set up. But Alonsky goes, oh look, here I am towards the side of chickens, just so Nord can spot him out, and immediately down comes the twisted advance, followed up with the seismic shove from Obliska. And yeah, serves the Nunu up on a platter, and just like that, gold lead has been elevated all the way back up to 3k. And just as the Drake starts to come back up, MRG are still without Shakur, who is on the mid lane. However, it may be a case that Oblonsky's gone too far, has flashed out. Venomcrest is still looking for the play here. Chain of Corruption lands onto Nord, but this is super disjointed. Karga, however, takes a massive chunk to the face once again. He is all out. His flash is down, can take a recall, could TP back in, but it looks like MRG are just going to cede this one.
Yeah, they are able to fight MRG off once again to secure their second dragon of the game. Even with the Aurelion Sol scaling, it's starting to look like Venomcrest just through the team fighting and through the power spikes are able to force their way into the side of Munster's jungle, able to secure all the objectives they want, and now, with the Baron buff, could even continue to siege towards the base.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's right. This composition, any poke composition, is always going to be nasty to have to defend against, because as you're trying to clear those waves out, you are getting dropped lower and lower, and if you drop too low, Venomcrest can just press the go button, delete you under your own towers, and then take those towers and probably the ones after him as well.
Yeah. Here we see the siege happening though. Venomcrest feeling it very, very strong in this situation. Have the Varus and the Jace for the poke, but MRG looking for a engage.
They're looking for Oblonsky here, but Musi and Nord, they're not tanky enough. It is Influentic coming in that sets up the play for the most part, but it's 2 kills already gone across. Me Like Panda with the double kill, chasing under the tower. It's a triple. Shakur flashes away, tries to get something, anything. It's the quadra for Me Like Panda. Nord is in full flight. He does not want to give the Penta across. In game 1 of the winners finals, Oblonsky is going to try and serve it up, but Nord will say no. Smites and chomps down on the tree. Panda will be denied the Penta.
Still a nice quadra kill from the top laner of Venomcrest. Has been the carrying force for this team for quite a few games, and continuing to tradition. 5-0-2 on this. Jace will get a nice paycheck as he goes in the base.
Absolutely. I would love to look at the gold here, because Karga had a great start to the game, and 1,000 gold does not do justice to how immense Panda is right now. That 2-item spike on the Jace, especially with Duskblade being so very broken right now, means that Panda can effectively just ping pong between targets. Jump on a target, delete them, go invulnerable for a second, MRG can't deal with you. Switch back to hammer, do an accelerated shock blast, do another hammer combo, somebody dies, and rinse and repeat ad nauseum, ad infinitum, and there's not really much MRG can do about it unless they catch him and burst him out before he gets going.
Yeah, just kind kind of struggling to find their way in. Even if Munster manages to find some sort of engage angle, Olonski just constantly body blocking the Nunu snowballs and the Nautilus hooks, and this tree so damn tanky you don't have the burst damage to melt it.
Down comes the fallen start from Influentic. Kennel stepping way too far forwards, gets melted down, and MRG now on the chase. They're after Panda. They know he's that crucial target. They'll take Touch. Touch will have to give across his life for the privilege of keeping that Jace alive, keeping that shutdown out of MRG's pockets. Step too far up though. MRG showing they are not going to roll over. They are still here to fight. Kaga, you need to be a little bit careful here. Seismic Show finds him, and just like that, what tank? He gets deleted.
He does just melt like a stick of butter. Venomcrest, even though with a small fumble on the positioning there, looking to secure more objectives for those. So the Baron has fallen off, and Influentic constantly scaling up and up. Already 350 stacks off the start. But yeah, Nord getting caught out in his own jungle, just not able to find any angles to farm, stuck on 143 CS. Sure, Olonski's as well, but Nord isn't getting kills.
Yeah, and of course, like, Maokai is always going to be useful as this disengage and engaged. Nord cannot be disengaged. He is all about going in. Snowball is not going to disengage a fight. Absolute Zero, okay, you might force Venomcrest to reposition slightly, but that's not going to stop them from continuing to kill you once they've, you know, dropped a single piece of CC on top of your head.
Just making sure everything is good on the stream side here. Yeah, Munster still looking for picks.
Looking forwards. Olonski dropping low, but he has got the Radiant Virtue, keeping himself alive, perfectly happy. Madliska dropping the Weaver's Wall here. Karga has been caught. So very, very squishy in all respects. Does manage to survive here. Actually, MRG looking to turn this one around. Touch goes down. Shakur was looking for Kennel. And Influentic looking forwards, tries to find it. Modlishka takes it down. Olonski so low but survives. Karga trying to find me like Panda. He is not able to get him though. Shakur gets dropped. Venomcrest step back. And just as the power of MRG starts to wane, they hit back with full force and rout them.
Venomcrest looked like they were in a bit of a pickle on the river fight, but Kino, who already escaped from the fight, coming back in, hits a critical piercing arrow onto Shakur, deleting the HP bar of the AD carry. Influentic feeling himself a little bit too much, diving in right into the Modlishka stone wall, and both of the carries get blown out of the water. Venomcrest now looking to finish the game, also it's only Musi and Influentic up.
It doesn't matter, Carvis. There's three members still there. Sure, Olonski gives across his life, but MRG cannot do anything to stop Venomcrest closing out game number one. And that's, well, that's the Venomcrest that we know.
It is definitely the Venomcrest that we know.
Super composed, super reliable, not falling all the way into MRG's scrappy, lowest common denominator fighting. They still play it just that little bit smarter, that little bit more cautiously. And as MRG run forwards, eager for blood, as soon as they stretch themselves too far, that last fight shows they get torn to pieces by just outpositioned, outflanked, outplayed, outgamed by Venomcrest.
Yeah, just while Munster did have the flashes of brilliance in some of the fights that they tried to take, the game plan execution just wasn't really there. Venomcrest had the response to everything, and Me Like Panda once again shining through as the main carry out of this team composition. Now, game one, okay, sure, you tried the Nunu, it didn't work out. Yep. Do you go back to the drawing board with something more standard?
I feel like you have to. I don't think Venomcrest are the kind of team that are going to fall for Nunu shenanigans. This game one showed it through and through. There was a little bit of stuff that Nord got done in the early game, but it wasn't game-breaking. And of course, that critical fumble up towards the Herald meant that Venomcrest had control of tempo pretty much from the word go, and they had no reason to take their hands off it. And So yeah, no, I want to see Nord back on something a bit more standard. It's like Sejuani, steal away the Maokai if you're going to take blue side. Just take something rock solid that can be the key enabler for your team. And you've got the carries. You've got Influentic, you've got Shakur. If Carr gets the right pick, then you've got him as well. You've got the players behind you that you can rely on them like that. The Nunu just did not do enough.
And the Nunu didn't really do enough. And sure, the rest of the team composition was interesting. The Tristana, Nautilus bot lane technically could pressure the Varus that has low mobility and can't really fight against the Tristana burst in early game, but Alistar counter pick just kind of ruined that plan entirely. If you ever try to engage onto them, you just headbutt one of the carries away, and suddenly it's a supportal combat against the AD carries, and Alistar is probably going to win that every single time. Munster, back to the drawing board for now.
It wasn't. Let's not doom and gloom Munster right away. That wasn't a horrendous game, but yeah, some critical fumbles in the execution department, particularly that Herald fight that they were winning the early game and then they weren't. And so tighten up the gameplay a little bit, put Nord onto something more, just like Sejuani, like a Maokai. I know they're perhaps a little bit boring, but those have been the kind of core things that MRG have been really succeeding on. Hell, take the Rel if you can get her, and I think things will look just that little bit easier for MRG to close out games.
Yeah, but we'll get to see how they work that out in Game 2 as we are going to head into a small break here. We'll be right back with more of Winners Finals for Division 2 playoffs right after this loading screen.
Where do I begin? I can't explain it. Know you're wasted. 20+ years like photos fading in. I see him changing. All the faces. Waiting up all night. Seeing red flags in the morning. It's a warning. It's a sure sign. Where do I begin? I can't explain it. Now you're wasted. How could you let them do this to you? How could you let them turn you into a monster? Your worst started to burn when you went out of closet. I guess you never learned till you knew that you lost it. How could you let them turn you into a monster? Your worst started to burn when you went out of closet. I guess you never learned till you knew that you lost it. Going on a whim, try to erase it, leaving traces. Sweat, blood, and tears dry. Your head on the pavement, know you're jaded, sick of playing. Waiting up all night. No red white flags in the morning. It's a warning. It's a surefire. Going on a whim, try to erase it, all the traces. How could you let them do this to you? How could you let them turn you into a monster? Your worst started to burn when you went out of closet. I guess you never learned till you knew that you lost it. How could you let them turn you into a monster? Your worst started to burn when you went out of closet. I guess you never learned till you knew that you lost it.
want anybody standing in the way of what I dream for. How could you ignore the ones that are voiceless, scream from the poor? They only here to score. I do it for the underground kings that don't need more. I'm kicking down your door. If I wonder why you got a pocket full of green for, it's all about the get back. It's hard to give back while the politicians kick back. They say I'm only brick rap. Well, that's the foundation of this mountain that I live at. I can get you kidnapped. These kids ain't playing with you, acting like you live rap. And all those little mishaps that only happen to you misfits, I'm here to fix that, yeah.
I told you not to play with the misfit toys. We running this game, getting sick of your noise. You started with a bag, but you misfit.
Rich get richer while the poor pickpocket. Swipe smacks well till the cops come knocking. Have or have not, being broke is not an option. Time after time when you gotta think for watches. When you the plug in the socket, and the powers that be can't stop it. So obnoxious, borderline toxic. Both sides go to war like a mosh pit. Now let me switch up the optics. Our neighborhoods held us hostage. Some nights we slept in our closets. Gunfights was outside the projects. So you can't blame me for nonsense. I'm here to collect deposits. All else defies the logic. My people need me beside them now.
I told you not to play with the misfit toys. We running this game.
And welcome back after game one. MRG looked decent, but a couple of big flubs led to Venomcrest taking the game. We covered it, Carvis, just before we went away. Nord went for the signature Nunu. It looked good at first, but it really just was not up to snuff against the Blonsky on the Maokai, which is something we haven't seen him on all season.
Yeah, it was literally the first Maokai game. The only other games that he has on tanks is 2 question mark games of Sejuani. Otherwise, he's only been an aggressive one. So Venomcrest just showing completely new side of themselves, putting the utility into the jungle. And it looks really scary, because that's the way normally teams have been playing.
This is interesting. The fact Venomcrest pulled this out in this series maybe shows that Venomcrest are not underestimating their opponents, showing that level of respect. It's like, okay, we're not just going to play the exact same thing that has worked for us all season long. We are going to do something that little bit different, and it certainly paid off for them. Coming into game 2, though, MRG are on the blue side. What do we expect to change?
Well, the jungler, 100% going to be the jungler. I think the Nunu was one of those. You have a best of 5 to play. You have a pocket pick that you tried it once. It was a little bit Maybe it works the second time now. Venomcrest was prepared. Let's go back to a more standard game plan. I'm hoping to see something very simple, very, very normal, something that Munster can get the players to shine with their hats.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of champions that fit that bill. Maokai still exists on blue side. They now have the luxury of being able to first pick it. Sejuani, if they wanted to prefer that over the Maokai for whatever reason, and the Rel, which we saw banned away from them first rotation in game number 1 as well, all look like champions that very much fit the bill for what MRG is wanting to do. And for the rest of the composition, it feels like mostly the same. It's like Karga on... I suppose potentially Karga could be shifted onto something a little bit more damage oriented if you see like a full true blue tank, like the Maokai, like the Sejuani, like the Rel in the jungle. But I'm not sure what in Karga's pool is really going to be able to answer what Panda's bringing out. Like, he doesn't really have anything that's a good answer to the Jace or to the Rumble.
I mean, Olaf sometimes can respond it pretty well, as can Aatrox, but we'll have to see what sort of style Munster goes into the draft with. As I said, blue side, they have the first pick, they have the priority pick as well, so the bans are likely to change coming into this game. Interestingly enough, we've seen high priority on red side for the most of playoffs for all the teams, and now switching it up for this series, both of the teams preferring the blue side. But yeah, Munster needs to figure something out. I'm also not a big fan of the Tristana Nautilus bot side, just because it's so easily counterpickable. Let's be real.
The Alistair did a very, very good job of stopping the snowball from coming through, especially perhaps a little bit of impatience, I want to say, from Shakur in that bot lane as well, jumping onto an Alistair that had headbutt available, having to flash out from under the turret, as it ended up working out for them. Obviously, it allowed Nord to make his play, and summoners were traded out. But yeah, Shakur not able to get rolling super early, so potentially just put him back onto his Xayah. Like, we have seen Shakur play Xayah without Rakan perfectly fine, game after game after game this split. Like, Rakan is not needed for this Xayah to be a terrifying threat.
Yeah, we'd completely ignored in this draft, actually, Joe. So I think that's the first time in a while that Xayah has been completely ignored in our Division 2 drafts.
Yeah.
Other things, the Aurelion Soul was the shining point in Munster. I'm not surprised if they're going to try that one again, at least in some fashion in this series, whether it be 2 more games or 4. Implantic definitely performing up to par against Malishka. What I do want to see from Munster, though, is something a bit more simple. You can have a moving piece like the Aurelion that you play around, but the rest of the map, if you have something like, okay, we're going to play Nunu on the bot side, try to pick up an advantage from there while we have an Aurelion scaling up. Hey, we need to contest this objective, but we have 2 scaling champions. Still contest it. Now, it's a little bit difficult to play around the map that way. Just try to do what Venomcrest kind of did in game 1 and have the power spikes be on a curve at the same time and play as a team.
Yeah, and I like the analogy of the moving piece, because yeah, if Influentic can get something like the ASOL again, or like, while he is physically not moving, Xerath technically counts with the range you can have on the right of the arcane, being able to influence elsewhere on the map, help Nord out in with a bit of a hand of God from half the map away. And if they can utilize that sort of priority on these picks that we have seen Influentic be so fantastic on thus far, then yeah, that could be a recipe for success for MRG. Alternatively, of course, we have the Church of Shakur, Let Us Pray, the bread and butter MRG that we saw all the way through the regular season, playing through bot lane, playing through this very, very mechanically competent bot laners.
Yeah. So let's bring up the Xayah again. We have a bit of a moment here to talk about the meta. Xayah has been a mainstay for quite a while now, like probably 7 or 8 patches now, just staying there with her partner Rakan, and people have been cooking up some strategies to beat her. Xayah obviously struggles with range, and we've yet to see people try to abuse that. We've seen a couple of Varus pickups here and there, but things like Ezreal have been mostly ignored. Xerath has been popping up only recently, and this sort of style, this poke comp style featuring Jace and gang, is really effective against her.
There is also the potential of the Caitlyn angle. She did get buffed on 13-15, but I believe it was a very, very small buff in the grand scheme of things. The headshot buff on 13-16 might make her a little bit more enticing to play, but of course that is not the patch on which we are playing, as we will find ourselves in towards a draft for game number 2, Carvis. MRG taking the blue side. I might not be surprised to see a Jace ban, but of course the Rumble is just a required one.
It is. Against me like Panda, you just have to have... Yeah, it's the respect ban, let's be real. Has been carrying games, also paired up with something like the Rel that just gets banned out. It could be devastating for any team to play against. But yeah, the bans for Munster staying the same. Again, the respect ban onto Olansky, but Venomcrest have to decide which priority pick are they fine with MRG getting. Tristana banned out.
Shakur didn't really get to a terrifying point on Tristana, but of course we have seen time and again that he can do that. And identical phase 1 bans coming out from MRG here. They have clearly come in with a plan, and they don't seem to think that the result of game one was a specific ban problem, which I agree with, as we've discussed.
Just waiting for the third ban here from the side of Venomcrest. Maokai, for example, still open as well. Yep, never mind. They heard me, apparently.
Sedge? Is this just a Sejuani angle?
So Johnny could be a pick. They also could pick up something like the Zaya if they want to prioritize it. We know that Keenel plays pretty
Sure.
much all the meta AD carries at a very high level. There's also... What else is there? Cassante is a thing.
I don't know if I would... I don't think it's considered first pickable anymore. Although Kai'Sa is certainly very good, and another pick that Shakur very much likes to play. So Zaya is somewhat falling by the wayside here. Is it? Do you think the meta is growing in range enough that
Nope.
you are? Never mind.
Nope.
Nope. Kendall's like, all right. Oh,
Yeah.
and the Rakan gets through.
This
The
is
Lovers
what...
duo gets brought out onto the Rift. Okay.
This is what I was a little bit worried about. Lovers Duo just completely escaping the draft, and first pick Kai'Sa lets them pick it up for free. Sure, you can get the Nautilus here to interrupt Rakan. This has been the mainstay bot lane matchup with Nautilus able to interrupt most of the grand entrances if the Rakan player isn't too careful, but that's still a very scary duo to play against.
Definitely. And with the Nautilus pickup, I mean, this is also kind of the quintessential bot lane matchup with the Kai'Sa. We've seen it for several years now, and with the amount of CC that can be given out from the Nautilus, we can see Plasma procs for days, because all it requires is a single auto from Shakur to activate, and then one final one to actually knock down the kill.
Yeah, interesting. If this gets locked in... Okay, there we go. The Dragons we haven't seen
I was about to say, it had to
lately.
be Sedge.
Yeah, Sejuani gets locked for most likely Nord. If there's a small chance that Kaga plays it, but I was speaking of comfort picks.
Oblonsky onto the Viego bit. It's like, all right, you're going to pick a tank jungler? All right, cool. I'm going to pick something that rips you to shreds.
Yeah, Viego, one of his most played champions in the main season in the group stage. Heading into the second ban phase, most likely going to be targeting the solo laners once again. Renekton getting banned out. I've been wondering why didn't we see this either. Has been quite a high priority blind pick. Just a solid point and click CC bot in the mid to late game and early game can have some good lane dominant matchups as well.
It's an interesting ban though, because it's not something we've seen Karga play at all this split. It is clearly a compositional ban rather than a target there. However, that Seraphine is definitely not a compositional. That is right targeted at Maliska. Obviously, I think removing a level of safety for the Viego is very good. It means that Alonso can't just kind of YOLO into team fights, get that first reset. So that gives MRG a little bit more breathing room to work with, and there goes the Cassante as well. So Karga is going to be... I'm really interested to see where this ends up. There goes the Lissandra as well. So a lot of Modlishka's utility mid laners have been hit as well.
Yeah, there's still the Talia, for example, left that we already saw a really nice performance on. Ari, as well, a decent blind pick, and with Lissandra banned
Good
out,
duo.
the main counter pick has been removed from the table.
Yeah, and it combos so well with the Viego. One piece of CC lands, you can land the other one, Spectral Maw or the Charm. And Azir is something that we've seen drop down in Prio quite a lot, but in the right situation, it is still very, very good. No, we're not seeing a Malzahar. We are seeing a Malzahar.
Okay, so speaking of counter picks, this is one.
Carvis, be honest. Do I have dust on my glasses?
Nope, that is not that is not a speck of dust. That is Malzahar's eyes staring you directly in your face. This is a very nice counter pick into the Ari. Surprised to see it. We don't see a lot of people pick up the Malzahar into these sorts of mid laners, but Inflentic showing his own pockets this time around, and Poppy being locked in. This could be a Poppy jungle for Nord and Sejuani top, entirely possible.
Absolutely could be. We've seen it happen before, and especially if this Malphite gets locked in. Sejuani has a fine matchup into that because you're doing magic damage with a majority of her skills. There is no way in hell that a Malphite would kill you in that situation. Instead, me like Panda looks like he's going to be taking a whole punnet of oranges with him onto the rift as the gangplank comes out. That would be a really, really nasty situation for Karga to play into, be it on Poppy or Sejuani, because this is within reason. This is almost a free scaling lane for Panda.
Yeah, Panda, again, if he cannot hit you from afar, Panda won't play it for the most part. Able to parlay up, get some more gold for himself, and support the rest of the map with the good ultimate. And again, Panda, one of the only players in the entire league who still pulls out the gangplank time to time. What is going to be interesting in this lane matchup, though, is that Poppy can beat gangplank. You do have the necessary burst with some help to just delete him off the map.
Yeah, and of course, the way Heroic charge, if Gangplank tries to be too tricky and setting up barrel combos, then you can just kind of charge through them. Like, the dash speed is quick enough that you can usually avoid the fuse timer on the barrel, and then suddenly a large part of GP's damage is gone. You can go in, land a couple of hits, drop a hammer shock, and get out with a nice little grass proc as well.
Just going to be an interesting matchup, but both of the solo lanes are actually going to be very interesting matchups. Is Influence going to bring out the Malza, as we talked about? Bot lane, the only
really
one
love
standard.
I love the Malzahar here. Rakan tries to go forwards. If the rest of the team is not right on his tail, then there is the theory of just lock the Rakan down, get that kill, and you play the rest of the fight 4v5 with one of the big utility options gone. And if the same is true, if Modliska too far forwards, just eat an ultimate to the face. Olonsky, exactly the same. Like, I'm not even sure. They made it so Mikhail's can't actually cleanse suppression anymore, right?
I don't think it ever was able to cleanse suppression. It's just not a thing that it can do. Yeah, there are almost no interrupts onto the Malzahar ultimate on the side of Venomcrest. You could get a Rakan W
QSS,
ult, but
like,
it's only going to be the QSS tax for most of the players.
All right, it's the tax man. Normally, when you think of the tax man, or at least whenever I think of the tax man, you think of a certain man in the LEC, certain Skarner playing man in the LEC, Zanzara. But yeah, similar in principle. It's like, all right, your team composition revolves around this guy. Okay, well, what if he couldn't do anything for 3.5 seconds?
Yeah. Looks like we're having again some issues in the game with a pass being put out. So for this sort of a composition, it's heading in the direction that we talked about. We want MRG to head towards. The scaling is a lot more linear, and you have all the map to play with. Venomcrest, again, trying to respond to the best of their ability.
We'll see how that pans out. Onto the rift for game number 2 of the day. MRG 1 down, pulling out a bit of spice with that Malzahar for Influentic. Venomcrest not to be outdone, of course, with that gangplank for Panda. And yeah, this is what I love about BO5's Carvis, because they build their own metagame. It's okay if there is a meta, like it will be evade to an extent. But if somebody like Panda exists who is so good on so many champions, it warps those drafts. And as the series evolves, then the responses have to revolve from the opponents, those players. And it's okay. We're getting the pauses out of the way now. It's all good, Carvis. Don't worry about it. It's fine, buddy. Let's, let's talk about that jungle a little bit more.
Yeah, the jungle is going to be a lot more familiar to the style that we've seen Venomcrest play.
I know. Click to familiarity. Help.
Well, it's going to be familiar for both of the teams. We've seen Nord in the utility role
Yes.
a couple of times, and Olansky in the carry role a plethora of times. What is something interesting, though, about this draft is Venomcrest lacking a dedicated front line.
Oh, yeah. Like, if a Glacial Prison lands, then it's basically going to have to be a case of touch Eing to his teammate and presumably just fling himself at MRG to disengage, which will, unless Kennel is close enough by that he can battle dance out with the extra range from targeting Xayah with it, then it could be that we see Touch racking up a certain number of L's in this game.
Touch, yeah, has the heal as well. There's double defensive summoners on the side of Venomcrest. They know that they're, again, kiting backwards, just playing around MRG. They are all quite short-ranged. They have a ton of consistent CC, but they do need to get into range to hit the Death Charge to get the Sejuani ultimate in. And if Venomcrest can kite backwards, they are able to play around even without a front line. Biggest problem for them is how to get the resets going for Olansky.
Yeah, and there is no easy answer there. The burst combo is quite interruptible from MRG. Like, the charm lands or the spectral maw lands, then whoever got stunned can just have a glacial prison lobbed on top of them, and whichever poor soul deigned to make that engage better have a flash or some Jesus to get out of that situation.
It's only some. No, doesn't need all of it. Looks like we still have...
I don't know. I honestly don't remember where that quote came from. It's probably somewhere like deep back in 2013, 2014 League YouTube. Oh, I remember who it is. Sky. I don't know if you remember way back when Sky Williams' various YouTube flavor, League of Legends flavored YouTube rants is what I'll call them. I think it was in one of those. But anyway, we are back into the game. Mercifully, you don't have to hear an old man rant on about the long forgotten times of yore that 2013 was. God, I'm old.
Same.
Oh yeah, it's the Boomer Squad. I forgot about that. Yes.
Well, I'm definitely not the oldest caster around, but compared to the players list, like most of the players on the Rift here are like, I know Touch is considerably older than the rest of the Venomcrest squad.
Yes, it's been around forever.
But yeah,
a very, very long time. Again, topside focus pathing.
Topside.
Or starting topside, rather.
Yeah. Starting topside, again, going to be pathing to the side where most of the CC exists. Nord can eventually, at level 6, stop punishing Modlishka in the mid lane. Oh, we haven't engaged.
Okay, Shakur just getting nuked out. Hasn't used the heal just yet and is not going to bother doing so. Not quite able to get the plasma proc onto Turch, and that is a big one trade for the Venomcrest bot side early.
Venomcrest kind of biting themselves in the ass here, not taking the Ignite onto Touch, instead choosing the double defensive summoner for the later stages of the game. Moosey, interesting hook onto Arminia. Shakur going really low again.
Oh, they're going to try and find the angle forwards. There is the heal out from Shakur, and now try and turn it back around. But again, they are so low that they can't fully commit to it. They are likely going to have to take a very early recall.
Still hanging around. They do have the refillable potion on the Kai'Sa. But top side, Panda flexing his muscles a little bit. We talked about how the matchup for Poppy isn't the best possible. Gonna need a couple of levels and items, probably Divine Sundry, where Kaga can actually start doing stuff. But hold up, what's going on here?
Oh, hi, Alonso. That's a red buff gone. Just a casual flash smite, thanks. Pieces out. Flashes over wall, smites your red buff, refuses to elaborate, leaves.
Bot side, still, Nord is around. They could look for something on this.
There's a ward there. If they want to make something happen, they've got to do it now.
They see Touch recalling here.
Can Moosey find the angle in? They are going to find him. Can he get the battle dance out? Touch is able to get out. The permafrost is not able to be activated. The pullback on the feathers from Kennel is fantastic, and that will be a first kill picked up. Flash out from Moosey as Olonsky comes in to secure the play as well. And again, first blood given across to Venomcrest. And Shakur and Moosey have to be careful they don't get dove here.
They are very low on HP. Olonsky and Keenel have to play. Gets the hook out. Moosey still going
Touch
to
with
die.
The flash. It's so good. Looking for the angle forwards as well. Oblonsky not going to quite be able to find Shakur here. Going to take some damage for his trouble. I don't think Nord is going to want to chase up properly, but this is a really good... This is a Venomcrest early game onto the Viego, gets into the enemy jungle, puts Nord off of his pathing, steals that red buff away. In the meantime, bot lane suffering from MRG. And it's going to be a while before Influentic is going to really be able to do anything. We see he is suffering right now in the mid lane, stuck under tower against Modliska's push.
Well, not exactly suffering. Still very good CS on the Malzahar, able to get the recall off. Has, again, a Sapphire Crystal refillable potion start, and will be able to get the early lost chapter once he manages to recall eventually.
Yeah, obviously Modliska's not really going to want that to happen. Well, they're just going to opt to take his own recall, and we got plenty of time to talk about what's going on in this game, Carvis, because we're into another pause.
We do. Apparently, I got some information. Kino's having a thunderstorm, so his internet is suffering quite a bit from it.
Seems one of the players has gone to the bathroom, Carvis. I mean, you know, it's a long series. We totally don't, there's totally not time between games.
So sometimes these things happen. Mother Nature is a fickle beast, similar to an ISP. Both of these can ruin your day.
I wasn't expecting, don't know why that hit me so hard, but yeah, fair play. In the meantime, we can talk a little bit about obviously how this is going to convert across the early game. First blood, 2 kills across the kennel right off of the bat. That's going to put the damper really on any aggression happening pre-6 bot side, and especially not with Nord there.
Yeah, overall the aggressive plays are going to be off the backs of these junglers for the most part, since Venomcrest, even though with the early level 1 to 2 plays that they were able to get this snowballing advantage off of, it's going to be hard to repeat that now that Nautilus has the levels and is able to interrupt the grand entrances consistently.
Yeah, and does mean, however, Venomcrest have got themselves a nice tidy 1.5k gold advantage. It's cheeky, Moosty, but it really isn't going to matter at all. There is Influentic TPing back to mid. Does indeed have the Lost Checker picked up, which is going to really, really help his farm clear out. Obviously, the Malefic Visions will be able to knock down those minions quite handily. Liska trying to push in. It will be like an occasional CS here and there locked off, because Malefic Visions, especially on this patch before the change, oh, never mind, touch. Possibly in a little bit of trouble, but Bolonsky is here as well. MRG knows something's going on. There's the level 6 from Me Like Panda, though, and immediately his presence is felt across the map. Cannon Barrage will put Moosey into the grave for the second time.
Just really well-timed gank / roam there coming out from Olonsky. He seems to be overextending a little bit, though.
A little bit, but there's not really much Nord can do to punish here. He's going to be able to wander out. Shakur had to step back, concede the plate to Kennel and touch. This bot side going incredibly well. And Panda, sure, he's not like turbo ruining Cargo top lane, but when you have a global ultimate like that, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, just able to provide a little bit of extra DPS in case there was a jungler there to counter gank. They are able to easily secure the straggling kills on the side of Venomcrest, and this entire time Me Like Panda still able to pressure Kaga on the top side consistently.
Barrels going back and forth. That is a very useful thing in the Poppy arsenal, being able to throw the buckler, knock out those barrels without having to risk stepping too close. Kennel forced to flash, stepped a little bit too far up, and Lucy was more than ready with the hook.
They get a really important cooldown out of Keenel. Will be able to get a roam gank off if they ever get Influentic free from the clutches of Malishka's Ari, just pushing the wave in. You're gonna need a couple of levels on the W and the E for that to consistently happen, though. But yeah, Munster able to...
It might take a hot minute before
It might take a hot
Influentic is able to get out of mid lane. We do see Kennel and Touch get that recall off that gold. That's some items to have in the early stages of the game. And yeah, Shakur not going to be able to contest. Has got the early serrated Dirk, as we know that the more AD-focused Kaisers do like to go for.
They are setting up for the eventual Kaiser power spike. Still missing level 6 though before they can start diving in onto the CC setups from Sejuani and Malzahar.
Hello, Olonsky. What are you up to, bud?
Olonsky finds Nord.
Continuing to bully. Got that level 6 first, got the kill, got the assist, and is going to be able to build up a massive CS advantage over Nord in this jungle. 25 CS advantage at 8 minutes, and right there when Herald spawns.
Yeah, I'm able to get the rotations again, the complete domination on the objective side as bot lane. We have an engage.
They tried to find an angle in onto this one. Shakur does have the ultimate, isn't going to be able to use it though. Another 2 kills thrown straight into the pocket of Keenal. 4-0 on this Xayah. I would have loved to see that, but unfortunately, it is lost to the sands of time.
It is lost to the sands of time. Something must have gone terribly wrong over there, as this Xayah is so strong, and now going to finish off the Kraken Slayer.
At 9 minutes. Yeah, this is, I mean, you don't need, a play-by-play caster to tell you that this is, it's not great. It's not optimal. Obviously, later into the game, MRGs do still have ways of getting in. The fact remains that Flash ult from Influentic is going to be really hard to respond fast enough to with the Featherstorm, and if you do respond to it, then you still have the ultimate there.
Influentic.
Meanwhile, though, the touch showing in. Influentic has to flash out, but there's members of MRG here. Musi and Nord here to help out, but so too come Oblonsky level 7. But forward, Heartbreaker finds the Nautilus. Shakur finds himself in a lot of trouble here. Rooted up, charmed up, taken down. 2 kills across to Oblonsky now, and he's looking to chase onto Nord. Looking forwards, the Spectral Maw will not find him. But this is a completely different game from game number 1, Carvis. Venomcrest stretching their wings and utterly dominating this early game.
Olonsky and Malachi, I sleep. Olonsky and Viego, absolute
Real
domination. Able to secure so many fights for his own team just by finding the good angles to get the ganks in. Bot side of MRG completely shut down. Karga in a matchup where he can't do much, and Influentic hasn't been able to activate himself on the Malzahar yet.
Hasn't been able to do anything. Yeah, the ultimate has been used, but it really didn't do much. You see Karga struggling a little bit under this tower. Panda playing the lane fantastically, never been under any real threat. Nord is, however, here towards the top side. Don't know if he's going to be able to get anything done, though. Meanwhile, bot side, Oblonsky dropping the Herald down. Musi and Shakur have to completely leave Musi, yet to hit level 6 as well.
Yep, here goes the charge, and the engage will follow.
Musi, again, locked up. The damage is going to be there. One more hit will do it. Oblonsky doesn't even need to pick up the soul. He's going to step on out of this one. In fact, jumping forwards onto Shakur. A little bit more damage would do it. Nord is here as well to cover his carry. But right now, Venomcrest are dragging Nord around the map, and he is basically just having to stand there as a bodyguard rather than actually getting anything done. We've been forcing the TP out from Influentic.
Yep, this is just a pure wave clear teleport from Influentic, trying to get Venomcrest off from their side of the map. But what are they going to do? Steal out every single jungle camp once again. Olonsky just extending the lead by 5 CS every single time.
And MRG are looking to seemingly try and contest this. Nord does have the ult, does have flash, but you are, like, Blisker is already coming in. The flash from Nord, or the Q to try and get into the smite range, then forces him to flash out. 2 Drakes already picked up. This is an 8k, near as damn it, 8k gold advantage at 12 minutes.
It's looking very rough for Munster, let's be real. They came out with a new game plan, playing a little bit more to their comforts and pulling out another surprise pocket pick from Influentic. but they haven't gotten anything done. It's all about the jungle being very polarizing. Keenel and Touch, of course, laning so well, but Olansky has kept the rest of the map in check.
Absolutely. Kaga has not been able to get a single thing done. Panda has been chilling top lane, farming up. As I said, he basically has a free lane, and he can just influence fights by dropping down a cannon barrage whenever he feels like it. You know, whenever he feels like picking up some extra assists.
Top side now under siege. They already got the tower on the bot side. Me like Panda a little bit afraid of Influentic though.
Yeah, forced to flash away. Did not have the means to escape that. Karga is not going to be able to stop this tower from going down. The whole bot tower is already gone. We've seen a whole lot of plates. I was going to try and count the individual number. A lot of plates. Carvis gone down, and we still got 30 seconds. Blonsky could potentially look for another engage angle towards the top side. Nord is here though, but he is down, obviously, in levels.
They want to look for the fight, and Kargai's gonna get initiated on.
Can't even get the stun onto him. The follow-up with the quickness will find Karga. Heartbreaker would do the trick as well. Doesn't even need to use it. Keenel, unstoppable. Blonsky looking for the engage angle forwards here as well. Modliska does have to use the Spirit Rush, but it's more just to pull MRG out of position even further. Shakur forced into retreat. Oblonsky still on his tail. Shakur will put a little bit of damage back into Oblonsky, but it's a slap on the wrist for the decimation that Venomcrest are putting in.
Venomcrest just completely dominating the map. It's extended already to 10k. It was 8k earlier. Just 2 minutes is all they need for a 1k advantage each minute.
My God, my word. So MLG came out, as you said, they came out, they were like, okay, back to comfort a little bit of a slightly, you know, spicy mid lane pick coming out. Venomcrest go, all right, cool. We're just going to, you know, put all of our eggs really in the Olonsky basket. Like, the bot lane difference has mostly just been mechanics diff, it seems. The Keenel and Touch just finding better fights than Shakura Musi consistently. And it's pretty much been, as soon as Panda hits 6, wherever Oblonsky is, drop Cannon Barrage on his head.
It kind of feels like Venomcrest has 2 baskets and a whole bunch of eggs because Keenel's so strong as well. Just able to put out so much pressure on these side lanes. Huh?
Lay eggs, Carvis.
Did we have this conversation in a previous cast? I'm pretty sure we did.
I don't know. Maybe we did, or maybe it was someone else. I honestly don't want to see it to its conclusion. Influentic is perhaps in a little bit of trouble, gets caught with the ground entrance, but will not be able to follow up. Karga is looking for the angle. The flash will be able to find onto Touch, but this is going to be, if anything, the first kill, but gets out anyway. Oblonsky now unstoppable. Nord stuck in the middle of everybody. Karga's going to find no way out either. And it doesn't matter. After searching desperately for a kill, all MRG get is 4 more caskets. And Venomcrest are going to barrel down the mid lane.
Brackish.
No pun intended.
Brackish.
Yes.
There's no towers gone yet on the side of Venomcrest. Nope. There's no deaths.
Carvis League of Legends, are you suggesting that this might be a perfect game?
It's a 13k gold lead that's being extended constantly. We have a chance that one of the teams that 3-0'd their first round of playoffs is going to perfect game the other 3-0ing team. What is this?
This is Venomcrest, it would seem, Carvis. Game 1 looked a little bit close. Venomcrest was like, oh, wait, hang on, that's not how that's supposed to go. Pull out this in Game 2. Oblonsky going huge. Keenel going huge. And MLG's comp, they want to scale it to the point where Influentic can, like, turbo nuke. And at this rate, he's just not going to get there.
Well, guess what we're gonna get? Back to us, because we have another pause.
I'm trying to think of the defining moment. Like, the defining situation that led to this. You know, yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got into this situation. Like, this is, for you, Carvis, like, where's that moment? Was it in draft?
It was in
Was
the
it the Gangplank lock-in?
It was the bot lane level 1. After this Kai'Sa
True.
Nautilus just
Yeah.
completely lost the level 1 fight and let Keenel and Touch snowball out of control, the map has been all about the bot lane. Me like Panda no longer has any pressure on him. He can freely cannon barrage without feeling any pressure from the Poppy. But Lishka can just keep the Malzahar in check. And now Nord is getting completely dumpstered in his own jungle by the Viego, roaming around with his bot lane in hand.
Absolutely bodied. And it's that, I guess. I mean, I was going to say we wanted something a little bit more simple coming out from MRG in the jungle. I struggle to find a world in which Nunu would be doing any better than the Sejuani here. So
I mean, arguably it did better than the Sejuani.
Yes, but that's like that's looking at like results-oriented thinking here. Which
That's
we know,
the only thing that we have to do here.
No, bad Carvis. You're a color caster at the moment.
Feels
Results
bad.
are that's that's the thing that play-by-play casters lean on to make color casters seem even smarter when they go, actually no.
Yeah, but you're correct in the sense that the Sejuani makes more sense in this composition, but it just hasn't had the chance to be the bar it needs to be. And it's all, again, coming down to the fact that the tempo has never been on the side of Munster. It's only been Venomcrest dictating what happens on the map. And some of it comes to laning matchup, and some of them comes down to individual outplays, but the entire picture paints itself.
It really does. I mean, we can see it. 17 minutes is where the pause happened. There is a 13k gold differential, 14 kills to nothing, 5 turrets, 2 heralds, 2 dragons picked up, and it's still 3 minutes before the Baron even spawns onto the rift.
Yeah, again, it's looking very rough for Munster. We've seen worse comebacks in the history of League of Legends. Let's not...
The scary thing is, I cast my mind back to spring. MRG ended up missing playoffs, but the run they made from the disastrous start to the split they started out like 0-10 or something ridiculous like that. And they wound their way back up. They were 1 win away, I think, from making playoffs in spring. And it was on the back of these hero moments where they would fall super far behind, but they would find that one fight, they would find that one moment where their opponents over-aggress. But this is a 22 win streak Venomcrest, who have not faltered. The only time they looked beatable was against Anima,
Out of all
the
things.
worst team, the last place team in the league, who through utter chaos theory tactics, like, dragged Venomcrest down. And, I mean, maybe that's just it. MRG were not able to introduce chaos into this game. It has been purely by the book, stock standard, entirely according to Keikaku for Venomcrest this game.
So, it looks like we have some time to fill here. We got an update on the situation. One of the players is playing at an internet cafe and got told, you cannot sit here. IRL gank, I guess?
Oh, that's a new one.
That is a new one.
Well,
Yeah, that's a...
I don't have a response to that, Carvis. What do you want from me?
All you can do is sigh. It's not... I think
Sigh and...
The best thing that I've heard of why the game has been paused is, I don't remember the player exactly, but I heard the rumors that someone had to pause because their sheep escaped the pasture.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty legendary. Is this like in the finish? Is like specifically in the Finnish league?
I honestly can't remember. I just remember seeing one of the screenshots of the conversation that was had during the pause, and that is the best reason I've seen by far.
Yeah, no, you get a pass for that. Like, that reason is, if you can come up with a legendary enough reason, then all is forgiven. Unfortunately, what isn't forgiven, and certainly will not be, is the situation that MRG now find themselves in.
Yeah.
Obviously, the only way that they have any hope of promotion is winning the split. And Venomcrest is going to be a team that they're going to have to beat in order to win the split. Right now, Venomcrest is just on a whole other level.
It's looking a little bit worrisome, at least for now, as the second game hasn't really gone Munster's way. Reverse sweeps have happened, as I said. I've also seen worse comebacks happen. The legendary, I think it was Season 2 World CLG EU comeback against World Elite that took like
Yes.
almost 2 hours to resolve or something done because of all the pauses, and it
Good
was
times.
That
was just the CLG EU. Like, that might as well just been the play. All right, we fall like 20k behind, but like 80 minutes we out team fight you, so deal with it.
The difference here is that they used to have Anivia, Ziggs, and the others that were melted minion waves. Here we have, okay, Malzahar can kinda to do it, but
yeah, no, this
no.
is a CLG EU comp. This is not. Like, where's the Aurelia?
Speaking of compositions, we get to see how Munster tries to escape from this onslaught that Venomcrest comp is throwing at them as they are heading over to the third dragon.
Oh, it's up.
Yeah, it is up. They want to get the third dragon just in case the game doesn't end early enough. They have the Infernal Soul for a GP.
Yeah, and a Viego and an Ari and a Zaya.
Again,
that's nasty. That is filthy. And there is not a thing that outside of like a hero's like Mission Impossible Nord sneaking in and stealing. Like, no. There's just no way you're going to be able to stop this. So the game is almost on a hard 5-minute timer now. 22 minutes. Venomcrest should be able to pick up a soul. And if they haven't ended the game already, they can look to end it. Nord gets caught with the charm. He drops. And now they can look for the engage. Olonsky steals the sedge as well.
Well,
Wave does disappear though.
Wave has disappeared.
Look out.
Open inhibitor over on the mid lane, and Shakur constantly getting some gold on the top side of the map.
Yeah, the flash out from Olonsky was huge there as well, as he was able to avoid finding the wall. Musi has to give himself over, implementing Karga, running away towards the top side. Shakur is still pushing in the top lane. Sure, you get a couple of objective bounties, but when your top inhibitor is gone, your bot inhibitor is about to drop as well. It is not looking particularly playable. We've got the Duskblade on this Kai'Sa as well. The inhibitor, the final fight, possibly. They look for Panda. He does go down eventually, but it isn't gonna matter. Karga drops. Influentic drops. Kinnel is gonna flash forwards. The flash out from Shakur will keep him alive, but Musi is not more than a cracker that has been left in T for far too long. Venomcrest will be able to open up the first Nexus turret. A mid lane wave will come in, and this will be it. It's not the perfect game, Carvers, but it's one heck of a game from Venomcrest to go 2-0.
It under 20 minutes, under 1930. It takes them just a tad longer to end the game. Just
that really was.
It was a
that
massacre.
Last passage of play. That last passage of play from MRG was simply from hell's heart I stab at thee. I think they knew that there was no way that they were safe to surviving that. So Shakur spitefully takes 2 towers in top lane. They spitefully commit everything to get that 1 kill, just to ensure they do not get perfect gamed. But I don't know. To me, that might as well have been. Venomcrest completely forced MRG like puppets on a string to do exactly as they willed. Every single play, the deck was stacked in their favor, and now they are 1 step away from the grand finals without dropping a single game.
Just a very, like, usually when we say dominant performance from Venomcrest, that they have ended the game in 25 minutes, it's like a 18-9 honest fought battle. No, this is one of the one of those where you're playing a game and you try to destroy someone's willpower.
It's yeah, this is really, really rough. And I'm going to be honest, as someone who has watched a majority of MRG's games this split, I don't know if they have the fortitude to come back and play this out and try and get that reverse sweep. If they can, then that would be the stuff of legends. But Venomcrest looked so good. That game was so one-sided that it is going to take one hell of a speech from Zika to get these guys across the finish line. That game speaks for itself. There was no result other than Venomcrest winning.
So now we've tried the Nunu, didn't work. We've tried Kaisa first pick, pull out a pocket pick in the mid lane with the Malzahar. Even worse. And then what do you do for game 3?
I mean, yeah, you pray, you go all the way back to the classic style of going for late game and praying to the Church of Shakur to get you over that finish line. Because if the game can go late, he can absolutely do that. But the games have never gone to the point where he is set up well enough as well to be that super flashy highlight pick, team captain player that he has been for this team pretty much throughout the whole year.
Yeah, it's going to be on the shoulders of the carries and leaders of the team to bring this one back. We'll be bringing you game 3 shortly between Venomcrest and Munster as they try their best to claw their way back into the series. Will we have a 3-0 again, or will we have a reverse sweep? We'll see. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back over to NLC Division 2 playoffs. Well, we've had a interesting game on game 2 on our hands with Venomcrest.
No kidding.
Yeah, they kind of stomped it under 20 minutes. That's the first one, I believe, as well.
The game 1 looked close. Game 2 did not. And now MRG, they go back to red side. So, the side on which it worked slightly better for them. And they now have to reverse sweep to maximize their chances at winning the split and making it towards potential promotion. But with Venomcrest and now Lightside, still doing pretty well, I think at this point it's basically locked.
It's approaching that. Venomcrest still could not make it into promotions if they lose this series and then lose the next one to
Lose the one after that.
LLS. But yeah, MRG fighting for their promotion lives, not only their winners bracket lives, but also the promotion series. And it's, looking rough so far. They really need to try and figure out a game plan as fast as they can.
The game plan is, the game plan is go back to red side for one, which done. The game plan number 2 is basically do game 1 again, but do game 1 in the context of not having a Nunu. I think that's roughly as close as we get. We are into picks and bans. What could be the final game of the series? Venomcrest, of course, would very much like to stroll their way undefeated into the grand finals. Rel already gone. Kaiser gone. And yeah, MRG's bans, I see no reason for them to change. Magliska's LeBlanc is still scary enough that it seems to warrant a ban.
Yeah, even if the builds are sometimes a little bit questionable, he still performs really damn well on the champion itself. And now, on the red side, still waiting for the last man, Maokai now getting taken out from Venomcrest's side, not wanting to play it for Olonsky this time around.
I would not be at all surprised to just see a B1 Sejuani. It's like the 3 good tank junglers are gone. But what does Nord fall back onto? You could maybe take that Nautilus into the jungle, but that would definitely knock him off his comfort. We keep the LeBlanc ban, and it's a first pick on the Xayah. You do now leave Musi's Rakan open, which, if you split up the Lovers duo, I think that's wise. Musi is very, very good on this champion. And of course, Shakur still has a wealth of other non-Xayah champions that he can pair with the Rakan.
Yeah, if we follow the pattern here, this is usually going to be Rakan plus... Well, optimal here would be Rakan Ezreal to respond to this. And then Venomcrest would go Nautilus plus
Shakur is an Ezreal player, by the way.
Cassante instead. Not even choosing to take the AD carry here.
Maybe they want to try and take the AD carry second rotation, like post-bans, because Shakur feels confident enough. Like, maybe he does go for the Ezreal. And it's not something we've seen that much. It's not something I would expect Venomcrest to even think about banning. So, okay, suddenly you go, okay, well, we're Ezreal Rakan. This like aggressive lane setup, can't really find an angle here. That's not getting locked in. We're not talking about it. I fully just expect this to be Sag. It would be putting Olonsky on a tank again, but we'd already played 2 games of it. We saw how well he did on the Maokai. And most importantly, it would like disallow Nord from playing a true blue tank.
This is more like the Renekton matches up decently well against the Cassante, even though Cassante usually eventually outscales the Renekton. But
yeah,
the point-and-click CC and the front line is more of the thing that Venomcrest wants to have here. This also unlocks some unique jungle pairings that we haven't seen Olonsky, for example, play yet. Things like a Nidalee, for example, is now available to them, but the Xerath being Harvard blind pick Xerath would be spicy!
I like it. Influentic looked really good on the ASOL, didn't work out. This time, they're going to go turbo range. And more, Carvis, your suggestion of the Ezreal feels really, really good. You want to, if you could outrange, make it so Venomcrest struggled to get to you. And you have some good disengaging options. then it's basically flipping game 1 on its head, where Venomcrest had the comp that MRG had to play into, and they really, really struggled with. And it's like, okay, well, we're going to do that and limit your options for engage, hence the Ari ban.
Yeah, this also is a huge call out to Malishka's champ pool, saying that, I don't think you have a good counter pick into this. You've been only playing these supportive wave clearing mid laners. You're not gonna pick Azir into this. You're probably gonna pick Ari into this, but we can just ban that out on Talia just in case you have a small chance of reaching the Xerath. We're gonna take that off the table as well. Meanwhile, Venomcrest targeting Shakur's 80 carry pool.
Worth noting, certain pick, we've already spoken about it, not banned. Kaiser's already gone, Varus is now gone, and potentially could even leave the carry to last pick. I don't see a reason that you would do that. That's also a good long-range, safe carry option.
Long range?
Gets put in for Shakur. Well, Boomerang Blade.
That's one ability, man. Literally one. Has the
You
short...
can poke with it.
You can poke with
okay.
it.
More importantly, the on the hunt is a great option for disengage and then subsequent chase down.
Yeah.
That's the key crux point of this champion. Modliska may just end up falling back onto the Seraphine. Lonsky also feeling confident enough to, after that last game, I'm not surprised that he would want to play the Viego again.
Yeah, and this time the Seraphine is actually open. Not the best pick against the Xerath regarding laning phase, but if you think about the full team composition, it would have been amazing. This, if they pick up this Vel'Koz, Siege Mage against Siege Mage, what year is this?
Was that even a year?
I mean, I remember the Vel'Koz, Zig, Xerath, wave clear metagame that existed at one time.
It will.
Well, no way they're gonna go for it again.
We want disengage. We don't want engage here, Nord. We want something disengage, peel. Ivan could do it. Honestly, I think actually Trundle doesn't make a great deal of sense, I think, because there's no... I mean, you can maybe punish the Nautilus for going in.
Okay.
It is going to be the Trundle. Okay. So, I mean, Pillar is fine disengage. And again, if someone overcommits, you can chomp away a bunch of their... or subjugate away a bunch of their health and resistances. Make it very easy for the return kill.
I'm still kind of...
I don't know how I feel about this, Carvis.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Like, individually, the champions are good, except for the Sivir. I think Sivir, I don't think, just has a place in the metagame, especially against a character like Zaya, who outranges the Sivir. And
I mean, being able to spell shield the feathers is...
Yeah, you can spell shield the feathers, but you cannot spell shield the members of your team that are running in with you into the Zaya feathers. So that's kind of counterintuitive to the game plan.
Rather true. Yes. No. What it seems to me is Nord and Karga are proper frontline. Make it difficult for Venomcrest to try and play towards Influentic specifically, and Shakur can kind of weave in and out with the Sivir movement speed. Musi can weave in and out with battle dances, look for grand entrances, look for quickness when the situation allows for it. The thing is that Venomcrest can play perfectly fine from longer distance as well, with me like Panda and Touch doing the exact same thing. And Oblonsky looking for someone out of position. Modliska and Keenel being protected. Like, these teams can do similar things for the most part. You know, the extreme range of Xerath is not something that can really be emulated, but in a realistic teamfight situation, you're not going to be at max range of Rite of the Arcane, because sure, you might be able to take out one person, but that just makes the fight a 4v4, as you then, like, very slowly scuttle to try and get to the fight as a Xerath.
Yeah, the Xerath is, I think, the shining star of this Munster team comp. I really like what it's trying to do. It's going to be hard for Venomcrest to reach him if they don't land like a 4-man bounce encore right through the enemy team into the Xerath. But the rest of the team, I don't know how well they can play around it. It may be a repeat of yesterday's Xerath game in the LLS Blue-Whites game, where it just got caught out because it had to play close to the enemy team. We'll get to see how that works out on the Rift, though, as we are heading into Game 3 of today. Venomcrest 2-0 up, and Munster fighting for their promotion series chances and the winners bracket life.
Yeah, this... Okay, well, if I had looked at the composition and said, all right, MRG have a good shot at it, this would be the one. As you said, the Severe's a little bit weird, perhaps, for Shakur, but love the Xerath. Love Karga, again, just being comfortable, chilling out on that Cassante. Musi on his signature Rakan. And it's just a case of, can they meet that execution bar that we are now more and more starting to see? It's like, you must be this tall to contest Venomcrest.
Important kill there. You see the 1 CS on Renekton was able to kill the ward that was thrown over the wall by Nord. So now he has a small XP advantage on the top side of the map, and I may be able to use that a little bit as Musi and Shakur are getting collapsed on. Yeah, Keenal just able to pop the W, and they get another ward. All of the early vision that Munster tries to set up completely denied. 125.
And now they're even stepping in for an attempted gank, maybe. Modliska, I don't know what he started. But yeah, it does look like they're just going to get that early invade off. Nord is more than aware of it, though, so should be able to, if he please, just go red into the opposing side blue buff. Just force reverse pathing. Shakur being on a hyperscaling carry like the Sivir means that being weak-sided bot lane, I don't think is the worst idea this game. You could totally play towards Karga and make it so Panda, who has been so huge of an influencing factor in this series thus far, is put down, put behind.
I just love the fact that after Olonsky himself has gotten 125 invaded like 4 times in the playoffs alone, finally gets to do it himself and force the vertical jungle. As you see, Trundle now heading over to the blue buff, as you mentioned. And Viego, though, now gets to play safely as the bot lane goes in. Keenal and Touch feeling themselves, forcing the Sivir to just do a 1v1 fight.
Shakur
going forward, Touch now hitting level 2, actually, just burning all the combat summoners on the side of Munster. And they get the important play. Olonsky actually lurking around, forcing Musi's recall to be cancelled as the bot lane is being pushed in. They're still level 1 on the side of Munster. This could be a disastrous dive if they can't hit level 2 fast enough. Olonsky and Touch, the key members to watch here. The hook goes to wide. It's the Cassante TP actually being channeled as the wave was already pushed in. They're going in onto the Nautilus. Touch has to burn his own flash. Shakur needs a couple more auto that's secure to kill. Here comes Viego on the back lines. It's going to be a 2-on-3 from here on out as Shakur secures first line. Kino takes a chunk, has to burn the Ghost. Olonsky still thinking if he wants to go in, flashes forward, gets Shakur, no spell shield on the stun, but Kaga still quite strong with the Musi pairing. Olonsky now surely will fall as Kaga secures another kill, blue buff, and a good amount of gold in hand as Munster turn around the early game play as Modlishka now getting caught out the rotation with Nord, and in place the entire bot side of the map is full of Team Red members.
Oh no.
Oh, we're gonna keep going. Kino picks up Lucy. They really want to show the way.
Carves, it looked so good. MRG, Karga, you absolute hero with the save. Thanks to the TP, gets 2 kills as well. Unfortunately, Musi, not counting the time until Touch came back in, had to try and desperately make his way back to his carry, was not able to do so, gives a kill back across, but the play set up by Venomcrest was diffused very nicely by MRG. Sure, there's a little bit of flop there, but we can breeze over that. They're the ones who come out with that slight advantage.
Oh my, look at the CS! Bot lane! Shakur, what happened?
I got forced under turret and then stuck there for a while.
Shakur's just in shambles in the CS. They get the plate denied because the minions stood under the tower for such a long time, but that's still a huge loss for the side of Munster.
Meanwhile, conversely, Karga is somehow still up in CS.
Yeah.
Panda. I don't quite understand how that one works, but fantastic play for him. I cannot sing his praises on that TP enough. the timing on that going, you know what, I can sacrifice X amount to ensure my team don't get dove here, works out really nicely for them. Now we have to see if Shakur and Musi can pay back that investment in kind as Touch looks to go forward.
Yeah, Touch lands the hook on Musi. Olonsky will follow this one up. A bunch of the cooldowns already spent. Shakur rooted up. Nord is here for the counter gank. And with Ignite ticking, Keenel's going to be in trouble. Has to flash over the pillar. Just a nice fight from them as the Touch feels himself a little bit too much. Gets the execute. Musi goes under the tower. The damage is too much for the Rakan to handle. And what looked like a decent fight for Munster again turns around for Venomcrest.
Yeah, that's, it sure is. Level 6 hit by Panda here. Olonsky still trying to protect this bot side.
Keenel
going very, very well. Shakur's gonna find him.
Yeah, Shakur's finding him.
Too.
Xerath ultimate, gonna deal a bunch of damage, but Olonsky with the resets now chasing Shakur, has the pillar, and a spell shield will be able to negate some of the damage, but Olonsky in the
He blocked himself!
melee form, blocks himself.
Olonsky blocked himself!
Inflantic is here as well. Olonsky has to retreat away, won't be able to finish out the kill. Another huge skirmish down on the bot lane.
Okay. MRG responding this time to Venomcrest making the plays and doing a good job of it. Rather than forcing the onus of execution to be on themselves, they go, all right, well, if you mess this up even slightly, we're going to punish you. This time, they're the ones with the kill advantage. They're the ones with the slight gold advantage. And yeah, okay, CS numbers obviously not looking great, specifically for Shakur, still at 18. But this is a solid early game from Munster. They're responding well to what Venomcrest are putting in front of them.
They are indeed. And now, for the Munster side of the map, two of their lanes are now going okay. Sure, Shakur is still a little bit behind in gold just because of all the missed CS in the early game. But with all
kills, though.
Yeah, all of the kills are making up for them more than enough. Already finishing the Berserker Greaves and stacking up the call for even more of that catch-up gold. With the level 6s coming in, they have a decent chance at fighting for these objectives if Olonsky ever wants to go for them.
Yeah, we very importantly need to see when the level 6s come through for Nord and Olonsky. Speaking of as well, Nord is the one with the CS advantage, unlike what we saw in game number 2. The level 6s should be coming through fairly shortly. Musi is going to have to get on out from Keenel and Touch, but Shakur is mostly just chilling, catching the waves, building back up that CS disadvantage he was at, and that was an interesting hook.
Yeah, but it kind of seemed to teleport a little bit, but yeah, Shakur really feeling the power advantage he has over Keenel on the Sivir. We were talking about how usually this lane is a little bit awkward for Sivir. Sure, she can push the wave in really fast and really hard, but eventually the Xayah will outrange, and we'll get to see how that plays out in team fighting phase of things as Nord starting up the dragon.
Yep, Olonsky going to opt not to contest that one, instead look for the Herald for the side of Venomcrest. In fact, already secured it, so reactionary dragon perhaps coming out from MRG, but both teams end up picking up one of those major objectives on the map. Panda is going to do just a little bit of proxying as Karga TP's back in, and we're getting to the sort of point where Karga is just kind of too tanky for Panda to brawl with.
Yeah, we'll get to see what sort of build. Yeah, Panda's just gonna opt for the straight up Stride Breaker, usually build here. Will be tanky enough to frontline and trying to find the key targets that are Shakur and Inflantic in the team fight. However, bot side, we see Touch and Olonsky again going towards the
Worth
bot.
noting there, sorry to interrupt, the ward behind the Dragon Pit from MRG did get missed by Touch's sweeper. So MRG fully aware of Olonsky being towards the bot side, and I expect that's part of the reason why the reset comes out from Shakur and Musi right now.
Yeah, they are able to back off very easily, pick up some more items as Shakur recovering from the very bad looking situation. And we talked about what can Munster do to make sure this doesn't end in a 3-0 and start to make the reverse sweep happen. Shakur, the shining star player of Munster, as you've said previously, already in a good position to start carrying the game from.
Honestly, right now, Carvis, more of the same. They do not need to, like, turbo force Touch. Might be in a little bit of a rough situation, right? The arcane, 2 of them, 3 of them hit, misses with the last one. That could have been Touch's death. Shakur has forced the flash out, has to use the spell shield though, as Olonsky looks for the play in the pillar. From Nord will get him out. But more of the same is in answer to your question. More of the same. Don't force. You don't need to force. You are the one with the slight advantage and with the overall, I would say, better late game fights.
Okay, we get to see Sivir going, but Shakur gets caught out. No spell shield. That's the shutdown going over to Touch as the main carry explodes. Nord has drained a bunch of the resistances and HP away from these 3 members of Venomcrest, but if they go a little bit far forward, they could go for a burst as the Moosey gets interrupted on the initiation. Keenel tanks a couple towers, but Olonsky dives in. We'll get at least one reason here if Nord deals a bunch of damage.
Nah,
enters a wave, but Moosey will be securing the kill with the Ignite. Ticks. Nord still kind of feeling himself, trying to challenge Keenel and Touch here. It does have the pillar, but they are a little bit too far away to continue the fight.
Yeah, that slight overstep from Shakur gets punished, and then some from Venomcrest. Majority of the plate's gone from this bot lane tower. However, the bot lane of Venomcrest now need to take that recall, so MRG can get themselves a little bit of plate gold back. Shakur, of course, still stacking up that coal, which is something Keenel never opted to pick up. So, again, that death is going to mean a huge amount. Moosey looking mid lane.
Yeah, they find the CC chain, but they just don't have the damage to finish off the Seraphine.
Not quite yet. Malishka, good, just cerebral realizing that you don't die here. Shakur, however, caught out by Olonsky.
Shakur does take a bunch of damage from the Viego, already has the Trinity Force on deck, able to chunk the AD carry down. And this is something that I really didn't expect. So we're gonna see if this top lane fight goes anywhere. As Panda is actually committing this to fully. Karga has to pop the all out, but Panda with the dominant is able to trade back quite a bit of damage. Nord is there. Panda has information of this with the ward, but he doesn't have information of this. You have to dance, Panda, if you don't want to die. Nord will just smite him down, thinking he's a jungle cat.
I mean, this is the Xerath. Being able to influence the map from pretty much wherever he likes. This is kind of reminiscent of the Gangplank from last game. Influentic has just been chilling out, farming for the most part, but then when needed, he moves and is able to influence these fights with meaningful damage coming out from the buff right of the arcane. And right now, at least, Venomcrest in these more organized, less scrappy situations is not able to easily find the first kill they want, especially for Olonsky to really pop off on the Viego.
Influentic tried to get the blue buff here, but I realized very quickly that he is Xerath. He does not clear those buffs fast. We'll need the help of Nord to get that one touch with a blind hook. They're setting up for the dragon that's spawning in 15 seconds, but with Venomcrest having this deep vision inside Munster's jungle, has full information of all the rotations that could be coming their way. With Nord now securing the blue buff, won't even give it over to Xerath. This is a hard one for them to contest as Nord just decides to take the reset. This one.
Yep. Shakur goes top to catch the wave that Panda's pushed in. Cargo will go and catch bot. It's not going to be an easy thing for Venomcrest to attempt to dive the Cassante. Moosey again shadowing to ensure Shakur is safe. And this it still is fine. Like, one Drake apiece at 14 minutes. We're still pretty even. Nothing has exploded open. Yes, Venomcrest has a slight gold advantage. Panda, you're gonna have to flash on Shakur if you want to do anything, really. The stun gets denied. Oh, it didn't get denied, actually. Panda is doing some good damage. Flash, finally, will actually pick that one up. I did not think he was going to be able to do that.
He definitely is able to. The spell shield gets popped by the second part of Slice and Dice, able to get the Empowered W into full combo. That's enough to delete the HP bar of the 80 carry of Munster. Now that's a free objective for Venomcrest in the Herald, and just no way for them to contest. That's who most of the money is on their team.
Yeah. Not really anything they can do about that one. Keep an eye on the gold right now, because It is slowly creeping up in Venomcrest's favor. Obviously, kills are even, but that really doesn't say all that much about the state of the game. There has been plenty of chaos introduced, and considering what we saw in Game 2, that might be exactly what MRG need.
Yep, this tower surely will fall here, getting a little bit of extra gold for Munster, as they are looking to even it out. Just a 1k gold behind now, with all of the map gold that they have gained in the past couple of minutes. Still, power spikes, not 100% there.
No, we've seen a couple of mythics come through. The Divine Sunderer for Nord interests me because it does, it is somewhat indicative. Oh no!
Oh no!
Bye-bye.
Yep, that's the one member you don't want to get caught on your team, and they find 2 as a bonus as the mid lane tower starts to get sieged up by Venomcrest, implementing the main wave clear. Now missing Kaga and Nord try to hold this off on their own, but Kaga's just not tanky enough yet to hold off the full brunt force of Venomcrest, and we have a pause as the hook misses. As is tradition.
3 games and however many pauses. I think it's like the 5th one now. But okay, it was good. It was good for MRG. And that last passage of play is a little rough.
Yeah.
Like Influentic getting caught is real bad. The fact that Moosey gave across his life as well, kind of needlessly, means that this mid lane tier 1 goes down completely uncontested. Venomcrest, of course, now with that tier 1 down, have pretty much the run of the middle of the map. They don't have to worry about that. We always talk about mid tier 1 being kind of the most important tower to take down in the early stages of the game.
Yeah, and it's mostly it has mostly been about the bot lane so far, but now with the rest of the map coming in, you see how strong Panda is with this Renekton deleting Shakur, and Munster really needs to, as you said in the laning phase, be more reactive. You don't need to force these sorts of high-risk rotation plays with Shakur being on the map himself with such high assassination potential on Venomcrest. Just play with the team, play with the Xerath siege objectives, and go from there.
Definitely. And unless MRG, resubscribe to that notion, we might see ourselves going towards a 3-0. Venomcrest already knocking on the tier 2 turret in mid lane. And the gold lead continues to creep upwards.
And gold lead continues to creep upwards, currently about 3k up as a teleport is coming in from Kaga, actually. They want to get Keenal, but he's just kinding away as Kaga just kidnaps, I think it was Malishka or Lonsky that kidnapped.
It was.
Yeah, finds another member of the blue team ready to peel off, and that's a ton of cooldowns burned for literally nothing.
A little bit careful. Nord did flash there, and they are going to pick up top lane tower, Panda that is. Keenal has to be very careful, does have the flash, will be able to get out of that one. Nord, though,
still looking to find this fight, and there's the teleport from the top laner of Venomcrest, gets the stun onto Moosey. That's the support now gone. As the Xerath Hold'em rains down, it's not going to be enough damage to deal it deals a bunch of damage, but not enough to peel off the aggression from Venomcrest. As over here, Olonsky feeling himself a little bit too much, finds Nord and Kaga and gets ganged to death.
Mercifully, that little overstep from Olonsky isn't going to be easy to punish. There are no map objectives up and available. There are no towers within the reach of MRG right now, so Venomcrest will still hold on to that huge tempo lead they have. It's still about a minute until the first Infernal Drake spawns onto the Rift. And that... Lichbane?
Lichbane?
Is that a thing?
Alert! Malishka's cooking again.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen it. I suppose it makes sort of sense. Obviously, you're going to want to auto to get the notes on Seraphine. And right now, I suppose if you can put more burst into that single first pick target, so Olonsky can get the Heartbreaker, get the steal on the body. then perhaps that is all you need.
Yep, Karga now being collapsed on by Olowski. I mean, like, Panda, they have the second Herald still to spend. Want to get the siege going on 2 lanes at once, and Munster struggling to defend this with Influentic on the sidelines without a teleport. Will not be able to stop that one as we have the engagement in mid lane. Charms up most of them. Moosey not able to get the follow-up on him, but Keenel now stuck between a rock and a pillar. Still able to take down 2, but with the Zerath ultimate raining down, Nord wants to finish off on Lishka. This Seraphine very strong though. Olonsky there yep. He's here, able to get the jungler 1 versus 1 and the reset. Most of Venomcrest still alive, only losing their bot lane members, and Karga Influentic trying to defend against the Venomcrest onslaught. They get the tower with the Herald down on the bot side and a couple of kills to go along with it, but won't be able to correct the base just yet.
And the cracks start to show from MRG, Carvis. We said, calm it down, chill, don't take these fights. And they take these fights, and now we see them 4.5k down, giving over the 3rd Drake of the game. Obviously, not soul point just yet, plenty of time, plenty of game left to play, but this is the beginning of what feels like a slow bleed out. And when we see MRG win games from behind, it is through mitigating bleed. It is through not falling further behind. These last 5 minutes of play, though, that gold lead has been ticking up, and it's now starting to get to the point that it can really be felt.
It is. However, as you said, they are really good at mitigating losses, and Zerath, one of the best characters in the meta to do that. Wave clears so well, plays from a large range, and is one of those champions that can result in a random 2.5 second stun for a pick.
Yeah, if you can find the max range stun, Shakur almost gets dove upon, but will complete the recall. The little moped faster than the eye can see, getting him back to the fountain.
The Munster defense now mounting for the last inner tower. Most of Venomcrest setting up already full vision in the jungle, looking for any stragglers that Munster may have going on the flanks. But Olonsky very separated from the team, could get picked off here. Yep, we'll see him up and will fall as Karga now putting them in a 4 versus 5. Another huge chunk of HP goes down as Panda, middle of everything, taking so much damage. Keenel chasing down Shakur. Munster, while it looked good again, won't be able to find the proper team fight.
They can't find the angle. Nord, after the first pick onto Olonsky, goes a little too greedy, a little too deep, and finds himself in the midst of a ton of feathers from Keenel, gets ripped to pieces, and in the 4v4, Venomcrest go, hang on a minute, we feel pretty good about this one. Going on, taking that fight down, and now turning across to the Baron. That will potentially open the game up even more. Fuentic looking with the right of the arcane, but I mean, they can just hold it off.
They can just wait a little bit. It is close. They didn't have the smite since Olonsky was dead. That was the idea behind the teleport from Influentic. With the Baron secured, though, this upcoming push will be a lot easier for them, with Influentic not being able to move to the minions too well. Teleport behind. Venomcrest wants to fight this even with low HP bars on their side. Touch especially.
That's a deep TP.
Yeah, it is a very deep TP, but it's a double TP. Moosey already very low as Olonsky chunks him down. Influentic and Shakur now out of the fight. Nord left all by himself as Keenel secures that kill, and with the Baron buff still up, they can force themselves down mid lane. Karga on the top side will claim an objective boundary from the tower, but is it too late? These recalls still not coming through from Shakur and Influentic, being chased down by Venomcrest. A very awkward situation for them to play around, but eventually they get themselves out of vision to be ready to defend their mid lane tower.
Yeah, they've managed to get the recalls off finally. I think Meliska and Olonsky, I think, may have spent a little bit too long searching for Shakur and Influentic there. They ended up not really being able to get anything from delaying the recalls. They end up just pushing a couple of waves in. MRG more than happy to catch those ones. And again, we find ourselves back to a little bit of a calmer moment. 23 minutes. Now a 6k gold advantage for Venomcrest. Moosey, a little bit of trouble again. Should be able to find his way out to safety. Nord, though, gets caught.
Lord gets called, already half HP down. Mean Like Panda has the flank once again, but they don't have their main carries. Mean Like Panda eats a chunk of his HP, party Ignite taking down, but he's out of the fight now safely, as both teams choose to retreat with a bunch of cooldowns burnt once again. This entire time, though, Venomcrest has a bunch of regen ticking, with Panda having the lifesteal from the Gore Drinker, and Keenel constantly shoving this top wave in. Seraphine Empowered W also able to heal them up quite fast.
Final piece of standing gold on the map for the side of Venomcrest gets taken down now. It's time to knock on the base. Baron still got plenty of time left on it. MRG looking for a potential engage angle. Look at Panda here, now shoving in onto the mid lane inhibitor turret. Nord's going to have to go and deal with that, which means MRG can't get that fight.
They can't get the fight just yet, at least. There's still waves coming in into Munster space. The Parent Empower Mini is so hard for them to clear as they get the engage. Moose has been called once again. Shakur in the front lines gets the F charge up, has the spell shield, but Olowski breaks it. Now the Silver's locked up and killed. But Blishka and Keedle deal so much burst damage. Their main carries now gone. Influencing the only one left alive who can save the situation. 2 inhibitors now down, and Mini is flowing in. Baron runs out, but Venomcrest still looking to finish the 3-0 here. Munster needs to fight a miracle fight as the hook lands on the Moose. He's already gone right off the arcane, just not dealing any damage to Venomcrest members. The heal comes out, 800 HP back to Renekton. Nexus towers are gone, and Venomcrest heading into grand finals still undefeated.
And once again, the questions get completely silenced. Venomcrest take a second to take a bow before they close out another 3-0 series. I'm not gonna lie, I came into this series thinking surely the win streak does not persist. Surely this is not another 3-0 situation, but all questions, all doubts that Venomcrest fully and completely deserves that undefeated run are on show today. 22 games undefeated in the summer split of Div 2.
Yeah, just a really, really good performance by Venomcrest once again, almost speedrunning this second series that they've played in playoffs and finding themselves in grand finals. Really want to secure the first seed going into the promotional tournament. Sadly for Munster, that ends their winners bracket run and the hopes for the Div 1 promotion series. Still though, in the losers side of things, we have a couple sets to resolve. LLS fighting for the first seed as well, need to pass Venomcrest. Munster will be waiting for the winner of LC against LLS eventually, so they still have games to play.
Yeah, it's not over for MRG, but I mean, after the run that they had, a loss like that is slightly concerning. We saw Lightside have a really, really tough series against Blue Whites, but they emerged the better team. If they continue to ramp up, if they beat Lions Creed in a convincing fashion, then there could be a rematch, Lightside versus MRG in the losers bracket final. And if Lightside continue to ramp up, then we could have one heck of a series on our hands.
It could be, but we will get to see that on Sunday when we have, I believe, Takeoff and Bloxer. They haven't cast a series yet in these playoffs. We'll be casting that game for you. It was quite a fast series. I think.
On holiday.
Yeah, I think both of them were on holiday, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we have.
I only knew that Bloxer. Look, any chance I can take a shot at Bloxer. Love you, really, mate.
We still should have some interviews coming up if I have everything set up properly. I'm just trying to figure out. Again, I'm handling production today, being a caster and producing at the same time.
Could you tell? You're doing great, man.
It's a little bit hefty. Let's see. Where did I even chat about this?
So yeah, Lions Creed versus Lightside Sunday. Okay. Winner of that plays MRG, and yeah, the playoffs was going to get spicy no matter what the outcome of this series was. Now we have, I mean, we were talking about Venomcrest as the Titans of the league. If any series could prove that, this is the one. It's like, okay, MRG have been looking great. They've been looking really, really solid. I legitimately thought that they would take at least a game off them. But no, the way in which Venomcrest won that was very impressive, and everybody else take note, because if you want any hope of winning this split, then you gotta do something crazy.
Okay, let's see here. We're setting up the interview. I probably should have mentioned something about this to the people in power.
Do we need to go to a break, Carvis?
Not 100%. Here's no cam, that's fine. I'll figure something. I'll figure something out for this. Let's go with I'll go with this.
You just get like a team logo or something at the worst case.
Okay, so we have Mila kind of in the
entirely pulling the production screen back here. I mean, you know,
it is what it is. Just setting.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Still. Well, I'm setting this. Oh, well, it's pretty much set up already. Just need to. Where did it go? Oh, well, I'm just gonna use the Venomcrest logo. It's probably the easiest way to solve this.
Yeah. Well, as was said in Portal, the best solution to a problem is usually the easiest.
We will be joined very shortly, but as I try to find the proper things, there we go. That should be good enough. Let's go with that. We need to head up to the upper channel.
Let's roll.
Yeah, let's roll.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hello. We should have we should have me like Panda here. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, well, still undefeated, and there was a game in there. Game 2 looked kinda insane from you guys.
Yeah. I don't know what happened actually. Like I'm just chilling on top lane, so who's doing my things?
Yeah, it was a very solid performance from you, especially the Jace game in game 1. And something I've been wondering about, Venomcrest, especially you, has had some signature picks, especially in the solo lanes. You and Modlishka have been constantly playing Jace, Rumble, GP, whatever. But suddenly, Olonski's playing tanks. What happened?
Good question. Like it just happened one day in Scrim, and Oblonsky is like, "Yeah, I mean, pick me a tank. It's fine. Just pick me Sajani or whatever, you know." And we're like, "Oh, fine. Well, are you fine with it?" Yeah. So I mean, it's good though. It's a good variety of champs. So
a whole new dimension of draft, seemingly opening to Venomcrest as if you needed another one. And I don't want to dwell on game 2 very much, because game 2 is a game that happened to all of us. And but we'll talk about game 3 specifically. This game started out looking like very chaotic, shall we say. What were you guys doing? Because obviously the later the game got, the more your gold lead increased. What was the comms like for you guys of trying to sort of corral MRG to fights that you were taking? Like you were constantly finding members caught out, or forcing them to make errors. How would you say that you were doing that as a team?
So I think the last game was like, I mean, their comp was very interesting, so to say. I don't know what happened there, but I think we were fine, like from the draft even if it was a bit chaotic in early game. I think we were still fine, because like Seaver got 3 kills early, right? But she was still down like 30 or 40 CS, and I think we were all fine with that anyways.
Yeah, it clearly showed you guys didn't lose confidence and still went for the aggressive plays, even though Lonsky went a little bit too aggressive sometimes. But that
Oh, yeah,
happens
yeah,
when
yeah.
you're playing me.
I'm gonna put him on blast.
You gotta put some people on blast every now and then. I'm sure they'll take it in good fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, now still undefeated, going
Yep.
into finals. Do you have any predictions who you guys will be facing up there, or do you even care anymore?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm unsure how the bracket looks like. I'm just playing the game, and whoever we face, I'm like, oh, what? We're playing versus them. Okay, nice. So
It's
I
the
don't know. I don't know.
it's still Lions Creed, LLS, and Munster left.
Mm.
So I don't.
I mean, I wouldn't say I care which team I face or what we face. I think we handle every team the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who we're facing versus. We prepare and be ready to win.
Yep, and it clearly shows. Frank, do you have one more question before we?
I was gonna dig in a little bit deeper on that. It's like every team you prepare for the same. So obviously, different teams come in with different styles, different pocket pits. Like from that statement, what you just said, and you say that because you guys are so strong right now, that pocket picks are less of a concern to you guys because you know that if you play your style and play it well, that it's entirely on your opponents to find something to upset that.
So we always keep in mind of the pocket picks, and if it troubles for a certain matchup, then we could think of removing that, for example. But we keep that in mind, obviously, with pocket picks and stuff like that, so we don't get surprised.
I definitely didn't get surprised today with two of them
No.
sent your way. You just brushed them off like they're nothing. With that, thank you so much, Panda, for joining us for the quick interview. We'll get to see you again in the grand final.
Thank you
if
as
you can
well,
take
man.
the entire season, and that would be the second time for you as well. So looking forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for joining us. We'll be getting Damon in next from the side of Munster. Okay.
Good insights. I was like,
insights.
I was like getting the sort of the quick takes of players like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna swap around the interviews. Thank you, Panda, for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
Okay, so Damon will have a camera, so I need to set this up. Could have been a little bit more prepared. This is the first time I actually have the setup for this.
It's fine. But you're doing great. I have a lot of questions. Oh, actually, I don't know. That makes it sound bad. I was about to say I have a lot of questions.
No, you can leave the one
really.
on this one. You have the Munster knowledge.
It's
so
not
I'll let
really.
you.
But I worded that poorly, perhaps, because it makes it sound like, oh, what went wrong? Like, there's only so much you can say. Because at the end of the day, it was Venomcrest who played that so well. Like, that was amazingly executed. And perhaps you could say that there were, a couple of moments where MRG could have played it better. But overall, it felt, at least, like Venomcrest, for a good 80+% of all the time we saw on the Rift, were firmly in control of things.
But yeah, we are now joined by Damon. Welcome to the stream.
Hello. How are we?
I wish it could be under better circumstances, Damon. First thoughts off the dome after that series. Obviously, it's.
Venomcrest are scary.
I mean, yeah, that's a fair and based opinion, I think.
Yeah, but I think we just came in with the wrong view of how we wanted to play the game. We kind of came in with all right, we'll just out scrap them, we'll just MRG them, and that's how we win. We'll just out fight you, and we'll just play such a fast, aggressive tempo most teams couldn't keep up, and they did a great job of kind of neutralizing that, and then we just phlegm, right? But this sucks for me, really, and not so much the players, or not as much the players, because they just really have to deal with the fact, hey, they lost, they get to play again. I, as the manager of the team and kind of the owner, we're out of promotion, right? Which sucks.
Yeah.
But probably arguably Venomcrest deserve to go more than us. So yeah, no, should be fun. Play again Thursday.
Yeah, it's always rough to have that sort of loss, but yeah, you still have a game to play. It's either LLS or LC
Lions Grid.
joining.
Yep.
Yeah, joining you in that series on, I believe, Thursday, and you still have a chance to affect the standings, so to say, because they're still fighting off the seeding, which one of them is higher in the promotional one. So after this sort of a loss, how do you feel like you have a clear way you can adapt and change the game plan going into that series?
Today I think was a stylistic issue, where stylistically Venomcrest excels into teams that are like MR. I think the opposite is true for teams like Lightside and Lions Creed, where if we even slightly go even in some of these scraps, we are just better. Which is kind of why in regular season, all the losses we had to Lions Creed and Lightside were when we tried to adapt our style and we played a slightly different style. So I think if we just go in with our game plan and we prep well, and I think that was a major issue today. I think we over prepped ourselves and not really prepped Venomcrest, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think we stand a good chance because we have like a week. I think we match well into them. Honestly, I don't care if we go third. I don't care if we go second. I don't care if we go first. When we started this split, I told my players, just get me 8th place and I'm vibing.
Let's have some good League of Legends is the main priority.
Oh god, no, MRG got League of Legends? Nah, we're there for fun League of Legends.
It's fun to cast.
Even better.
It's definitely fun to cast.
Yeah. But yeah, no, God willing, we'll meet Venomcrest in the final, and that'll be our second final as an org, and hopefully this one will win. Please.
Do you have any closing questions, Brackish, before we?
No, I think that's some good outpouring from you, Damon. That pretty much covers all I was going to ask.
But yeah, with that, thank you, Damon, so much for joining us, even with the loss taken. We'll get to see you guys again on Thursday when one of the teams on the Sunday's game will be joining to see you there. With that, we're going to head back over to the casters to close things off. Hello, we are the casters. So yeah, that was a fast series, but an entertaining one nevertheless. Thank you, Brackish, so much for joining me on this cast. We got to cook
Always
a
a
bit
pleasure.
ourselves with the cast and the production setup. All of this is still going on for next week and this Sunday when we have 3 more sets for you in the playoffs, continuing off with LC versus LS. This has been it for us. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us on this Friday evening. It has been a pleasure, and we'll get to see you next time.